football in the Eastern Football Netball League. It's Matthew Fody here with Wayne Brasher and Matt Spider-Lee as we bring you all the action from Blackburn and Balwyn as these two Premier Division giants get their 2022 campaigns underway. This is all, of course, being broadcast on the SEN App, Facebook and YouTube of the Eastern Football Netball League, and it's all brought to you by Eastland and our other sponsors. Brash, welcome back, mate. You had a weekend off last week to go watch the mighty Vermont Eagles get up in a close one. It's good to have you back riding shotgun.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. And, it was great to just go back and watch some Premier League football last Saturday, Matt. Good crowd, good to catch up with some friends and got a bit of info from both sides. So it was a very productive Saturday afternoon.
That's good to hear, Brush. Always good to have you next to me, though. And Matt Spider-Lee, you've ventured out to a Saturday game for the first time this year, mate.
Yeah.
Is it difficult being away from East Burwood? Obviously, they're not playing today. It's a bit weird.
They're not playing. First of all, good afternoon to everyone and a happy Easter. It's great to be down at Blackburn. Not too far from home for me, only a couple of minutes down the road. I'm on just live off Blackburn Road.
There you go. Don't give it all away, though, Spider.
I live in between. So I live in between East Burwood and Blackburn. So not that far, but look, great to be here. The ground and the conditions are fantastic.
Yep.
The crowd's building and a bit of excitement around too. A good Friday game. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Absolutely, Spider. And before hopefully we're going to have Rodney Ede and Brendan Allen on before, and obviously we'll talk all the ins and outs of this game, and obviously Blackburn and Balwyn seasons, because they like starting late, they like getting a big crowd in. It is building nicely here at Moreton Park, but I think there'd be a little bit of frustration in the players, Brasher. They've had to wait, 2 weeks since the season really launched with the lower divisions, and then obviously Premier Division last week, and these guys have been twiddling their thumbs. And I know Blackburn had one of the first practice games, so it would have felt like a long period between finally lacing up the boots and actually getting to play a competitive game.
Yeah, it would have been, but also probably being mindful of the fact, I'm sure that Brendan Allen and his coaches, it would have given them an extra week, Matt, to go out and survey the scene, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure the coaches enjoyed having a look at everything
some of the
around.
other sides, because from what I saw last weekend, I can see Premier Division being a division where it's going to come down to minutes of football that could actually decide games this year, because that was what it basically was last week.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can talk about those games quickly. We haven't done too much Premier Division, so tell us about Doncaster and Vermont's clearly the game that you're both referring to, and it's probably the game that jumped out everyone when they were reading the scores on a Saturday night or Sunday morning. Give us a bit of insight as someone who was at that fixture, what to expect from both Doncaster East and Vermont.
Well, put it this way, look, having a look at Vermont, there's a lot of experience that has left the club this year, and look, if calling it as it is, I reckon almost Vermont's in a bit of a rebuild, Matt.
Bit of a Geelong Cat sort of one, though, where you stay relevant?
No, yeah, look, I think there's, keeping in its perspective, I mean, the elder statesmen are probably Lockie Johns, Robbie Ross, and probably Andrew Ainger. They're going to be the three key players, I think, this year that are going to be guiding the Eagles' fortunes. However, that being said, they've got some impressive youngsters coming, or young men coming through that side, and I can actually, it might take them a season, and in fact, I think maybe better sides might get hold of them once or twice throughout the season just because of their inexperience, but I still think they'll be well around the mark. The game they very much ebbed and flowed. Vermont was on top early. They led at quarter time. The scoring was down, was basically down to one end of the ground for most of the afternoon, when you're kicking down the hill towards the nets. So I thought that Doncaster East, they did extremely well. They had their moments where they worked the ball through the midfield. Their tackling was very good, and they moved the ball just as good as what Vermont did. But they always seem to be playing catch up, Matt.
Yeah.
Do they look like a new team, Doncaster East, in terms of change? Do we think they're going to play a better brand of footy in 2022 to what they have in the past? There's always been the talk about teams coached by Steve Buckle that tie them down and they don't play. They play in a particular way. But now, what are they going to expect this season?
With Ryan James, I just saw glimpses of a little bit more of an aggressive mindset, Matt. They're prepared to take the player on, and also too, look, they've still got quite a few players yet to, and experienced senior guys that are still out injured to come back into that lineup. So look, I think there's plenty of upside for Doncaster East. I just think that, like I said, I think they're going to cause some major headaches for some sides this year.
So definitely a prospect, a team that can certainly make that
I think
elevation up into a finals.
It's a top six now as well.
I had them finishing 7th, and I had Blackburn finishing 6th. And
so you'll know more by the end of today, Brash.
I think we'll find out a little bit more today, yeah.
Speaking of that, Spider, what are you expecting from both these sides? Because both sides are sort of at different ends of their, I guess, if you call it their premiership cycle. Obviously, neither side has won a premiership in a few seasons, but Blackburn sort of 2019 was, obviously they made that step up into the grand final, and I think 2020, 2021 was probably their time to strike, but unfortunately, like many of us, their plans were halted by a global pandemic, and I feel like now they're probably backing out of it. If you look at the team list, there's a few names that have dropped off from that side, and then vice versa. Balwyn, after years of, you can't quite take the wilderness because they only missed finals once, but that is the wilderness for Balwyn. They seem to be, their team now today, looking at it, is a very, very impressive one.
Yeah, it is. Look, I mean, when you look at Balwyn's team, it looks like they're certainly going in a direction where they've certainly made their recruiting a target. They've gone and invested a lot into the country leagues, particularly in Yarrawonga, where we're going to see players like Matt Casey for the first time, Zach Webster, the Sexton brothers as well. We're going to see these guys out here this afternoon, and they're players from all reports that are really fine and capable players, and will make their mark in this competition.
Well, Matt Casey played. He's actually a lot younger than I expected him to be. So 41 games for Yarrawonga. So he's only just really early 20s. So he's not quite at his peak yet. So, which is a good time for Balwyn because
he can play at both ends.
Yeah, exactly. So he kicked a few goals for Casey. Not for Casey, for Yarrawonga. But Rodney Ede seems to be keen on playing him in defence, which is not a bad idea, Brash, given they've got Lyle, Goebbels and Haley. There's only so many names you could fit in one forward 50.
And that's the thing that's the problem. That's where Blackburn may struggle this afternoon because you can't afford to let a player like Charlie Haley off the leash too early. No. Otherwise, he's going to cut you up real quick.
I think as well. So you talk about that, and again, we're sort of changing tack pretty quickly here, Spider. But Blackburn's defence, I honestly don't know. Like Lachlan, Harry and Cole Dove will probably share the ruck duties, but Harry's probably more of a defender. And then the rest of the names, as I said, there's a lot of new names too. It's just a matter of this generation. We can't be across everything. But like Brash is pointing out there, Spider, there's 3 prongs. So Lyle's going to take probably your most lockdown defender just due to his size. Goebbels needs someone who can work with him up the ground. And Charlie Haley needs a cross between a key defender and a small defender. You need about 4 players to cover 3, or 5 players to cover 3 blokes, and then there's still 3 other ones that can kick goals. So Balwyn's forward 50 is frightening.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably Balwyn's ability to score against Blackburn's midfield that's just been so strong over recent years and kept them in a lot of games and won them games. I mean, we saw a few times last year where their midfield just dominated games, but the forward line couldn't capitalise and at times looked dysfunctional. They had players coming in and out of the team. Hammond wasn't playing a lot. He was on and off. Bathy was in and out of VFL. So they didn't have a lot of continuity, which was a little bit of a frustrating year for Blackburn. And had we had a full completed season, well, who knows what might have happened. I mean, Blackburn was sort of on the edge of playing finals and on the edge of missing. It was
so Blackburn was 6th. So that's a good point, Spider. Let's play hypotheticals now. Let's say our full season played out from where we cut it off. So there was probably 5 or 6 games left, and then obviously finals. Do you think Blackburn would have made that top 5? It was them and South Croydon really, because the top 4 was pretty much locked away.
I think at the time I remember saying that I thought they were going to miss. So I actually rated South Croydon a lot higher, and I thought that was only on the evidence that we saw here in the match between South Croydon and Blackburn on that Anzac Day when we saw them live the second time around. At home, obviously South Croydon played well as well, so they did have a bit of the wood over them. So I think from that perspective, Blackburn were probably just a little bit off the pace.
All right, Matt, I said a minute ago that one of the things that Vermont have prided themselves on is the fact that they're playing young men, right? And they've basically come through their junior development. Blackburn's development has been equally as impressive throughout the years. Are Blackburn with the quality of player out? Are they in a rebuild as well?
Well, you'd have to say that they are rebuilding in some circumstances because that team that played in 2019 and a lot of those guys that have departed now, that indicates quite clearly they've lost. Well, Marcus Young's now at Eastburn. There's a couple of others that have departed. Max Odden has left that team. So there's players of good quality that have left. So that makes, you'd have to say that they are now building and trying to bring this next wave of junior players through to their team. Are these guys capable? Time will have to tell. But
I think Blackburn have always had strong under-19s and reserves. Definitely their reserve side. This one at the moment, the reserves is Blackburn 5-3 to Balwyn 4 behind. So if I'm taking anything out of that, I think obviously there is a bit of a weakening, or the club has been weakened a little bit. Either that or Balwyn's reserves have improved a lot.
But
and we'll find that in the long run. And their 19s have been perennial contenders. Their junior club's got plenty of numbers. So I think Blackburn are one of those sides, Brash, like Vermont, that can, on the run, pump through a lot of kids and not really worry about bottoming out. I don't think there's any worry that Blackburn... I think they'll miss finals, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near the bottom.
Slightly, in that I think that there is a little bit of a... You have to be a bit wary, because you can have the strong juniors, and and that they have for a long period of time here at Blackburn. But their biggest problem is they've been in the top flight now for almost 20 years, right? And they haven't had ultimate success. They've had success making finals and making a lot of
but not everyone.
Yeah,
but not
what it's measured on.
Only three clubs really have ultimate success. Like in the last 20 years, Vermont's won how many of them, Brash? Probably close to 10. Balwyn won 4 of them, and Noah Park won 4 of them in the last 20 years. And you chuck in a Nord and South. There's only 2 flags to go around. I think it's pretty hard to. I don't think you can judge a club like Blackburn on the fact... They would probably judge themselves on the fact that they wanted to win it, but I don't think that's the pass and fail for them.
But it's also the fact that they have to start rewarding a lot more of these junior players, and they're going to have to this year, because other clubs are starting to cherry pick. There's a lot of clubs now that are looking at their seconds players, fringe type of players, not too dissimilar to Vermont in the past, where players haven't been quite getting regular senior games and they've offshooted down to One Turner South, or in more recent times, a couple of Vermont players have gone to Eastburn, or they might have gone down to Knox, or things like that, or even some players over going back a long time used to come from Vermont to Blackburn and play when Blackburn were playing Division 2.
Well, there's a couple of them out there. Going Lawler, the captain, is an ex-Vermont.
Exactly.
I think, though, in the overall balance of things, I agree with Matt. They're going to be...
They won't bottom out. I don't think they're going to...
They won't bottom out, but I think it'll be like very much in the Vermont case, that there'll be a couple of sides, bigger-bodied sides, bit of credentialed sides that might get hold of them.
And one of them's probably out there today.
Yeah.
I think, it's an interesting discussion, though, Spider, on Blackburn's reserves. Because
do they want to spend? I mean, look at today. We're going to have a point system. We're going to have Blackburn's going to spend today 29 points up against 44.
Matt, the only...
but they're spending points, and then there's also spending it. Like, you don't just spend the points for the sake of spending the points, because Blackburn, at the point they're at, they're nowhere near winning the flag this year. I'm sure they'll talk about it. So why spend the points if I'm them? I'd throw games to as they're doing, to a lot of young fellas and going... As long as we don't somehow drastically fall into a relegation battle, which they won't.
No.
This is a free hit year. If they sneak into finals, good on them. If they finish 7th and win a few games, they've got to win a game at home. They haven't done that yet since the rebuild of the rooms.
You don't want to continually being 6th, 7th, 8th.
But they're not. They've been in the finals for 5 years.
But you don't want to fall into that.
I get that, though, but I do get what you're saying, though, Spider, but the thing is, not every side can win flags, right, on a yearly basis. And the thing is, the only true reliability now on what goes onto the field on a Saturday afternoon is the points that each player has been allocated for each side. Because with the salary cap down, those quality players that we're so used to seeing, right, they're either playing in other competitions, right, for I don't know how, but they're playing in better competitions, or they're playing up the bush.
Yeah,
and the thing is, because there's no cap in the bush.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
so the thing is, I would.
Can we break a tiny bit early?
I'm still saying, in my opinion, that I think Blackburn and Vermont are on the same trajectory this year.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean, and I just think that you still got to have that measurable impact too. You got to say, okay, if we're not going to win the flag, where's the comfortable spot for us and to consolidate?
Absolutely.
Well, the thing is,
sorry, boys, I hate to cut you off. This has been a very engaging discussion.
Okay.
I've enjoyed it a lot. But Rodney Ede's walking over, so we're going to go to a quick break here on the pre-game, and then when he comes over, we can talk to Rocket Ede all about board.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans.
There you go, mate.
Or did you run into the goalpost again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park.
In the centre, he nearly put it through.
Welcome back to Moreton Park, and then for some good Friday football between Blackburn and Balwyn. And we're joined by Balwyn senior coach Rodney Ede. Rodney, thanks for joining us, mate, before the big one. How it feels like a long wait for you guys to finally play some footy. Played about, well, it seems like 8 practice games probably, but it's been a long time. Enjoying it?
Yes, I certainly am. Yeah, it has been long. Obviously, every other division league started on
2 weeks ago. Yeah,
2 weeks ago. So it's been a while, and then obviously pushed back for Good Friday. But we certainly had a good pre-season. I suppose most teams are going to say that. But we've had 4 games. We struggled to get one on the 2nd of April, but fortunately we got one against Doncaster, so that helped us. And we got a few injuries over the period, but they're all back either in the first or the seconds today. Good. So that's good. So looking forward to the season.
Absolutely. New names. So as you were talking about just off air, there's a bit more depth in the side now with just some new names. But in particular, Nathan Oakes and Matt Casey have caught my eye. Obviously, Oakes from Noble Park, but only played a handful of games there, so it's hard to call him a bull through and through. And then Matt Casey from Yarrawonga. Tell us a bit about them.
Matt Casey is from Yarrawonga. He's been living down here for university for a while and driving back, and I think that
it's a fair drive.
His last year of university this year, it was just going to be too much for him, so he wanted a local club, and we've got 2 Sexton boys who are at VFL level, young blokes, and they're from Yarrawonga as well. And we know their dad, Damien, who played at Sydney, so we got onto Matt through Damien, and he only lives in Hawthorn, so it sort of worked out pretty well for us.
Walk up the training.
Yes, so he's generally been a forward for Yarrawonga, but he has played back a little bit. So we're going to play him centre back. He's old language, 6'3", and good kick, and quite a strong sort of player. So no one expecting miracles from him, but he'll certainly help solidify the defence. And
then Nathan Oakes, obviously played the handful of games for Noble Park last year. What about him?
Yeah, he's one of his best friends is Bowen Smith. So he actually hung out with our players last year, so it was sort of by default. We had a few of the players say, listen, Oaksy were keen to come across. What do you think? And we were worried about the points and all that sort of situation, but spoke to him. He's a terrific lad, and he's obviously in Richmond's list as well. He played a little bit.
Played 5 games for them,
for them last year, and so he just adds to our midfielders, especially Paul Patterson out at the moment. So, it's just another big-bodied midfielder, which will be good for us.
Rodney, you've always prided yourself on having a very, very strong pre-season games with quality opposition. From what you saw out of those games this year, how do you think the side will measure up compared to the sides that you'll confront in the EFNL this year?
Yeah, I think it's probably difficult to say because you don't know what the opposition's like. But we played Collegians early on. That was about 6 weeks ago, so that wasn't a good guy. But we played Montmorency, who, the Northern League, who have got Lin Jong.
Wale
Buxton plays there. Honeychurch. So they've got a very good side. It was a pretty close game. I think it was about a goal the difference. So we were really pleased with that effort.
Did you play Aberfeldy as well?
No,
you were due to, weren't you?
No, we played Banyule.
There you go.
Banyule, who were the top team in their Div 2 or whatever, they Div 1. So, and then we played Doncaster, which was a wet day, which was quite good actually, playing on a wet day. So it was just a good physical contest. So from what we've seen, we've been pleased. We've had a few players out. Charlie Haley's missed quite a few weeks with an ankle. He's been training the last 2 weeks, so he's back. But overall, we're in a reasonably positive frame of mind.
I think the other thing I was going to ask you, Rocket, is the fact that, look, you've coached at the very highest level and probably one of the best managers throughout. How'd you go coping with basically 2 years without football, in keeping in contact with your players and keeping them, engaged? Was that one of the hardest things for you?
I suppose it was difficult for everybody because you couldn't see them, especially 2020 where it really affected everybody. You couldn't even train and we didn't play and all that sorts of thing. But excuse me. But certainly our group it was a really tight group, so they managed that pretty well. We kept in touch on Zooms and obviously on Facebook and etc. like that. Then last year, we just started to hit some really good form when it came.
You were
mid-season, so we were, we're really positive. But the guys on the back of that have been really positive about what happened last year, as far as the way we're playing and the recruits we've got. So, to answer your question, I suppose it's difficult. It's the same for every team, but you just got to make sure you do that. The care for the players has been really positive.
G'day, Rocket. Great to speak to you again. We've spoken a couple of times over the years now. The Sextons you were just talking about have come to the club. Tell what sort of dynamic do you expect and impact that they will have this season, and what can we sort of expect more in particular here this afternoon?
Young Will, he's on Box Hill's list, but he's only a 19-year-old lad. He played at Xavier College last year. So, we're not expecting a lot from him, but he's a tough player. He's 6'1". He's pretty hard. He'll get better as the time goes on. Jack is older but a smaller player who was a very good player for Yarrawonga. He's on Richmond. Tried to get him down last year, but he's on their VFL list this year. He's a different type of player to Charlie Harley, but he's a miniature Charlie Harley. He's a bit cheeky and.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, it's a good thing. That's a good thing. No, I like that. So he backs his confidence. He's got some talent. And he's a really good tackler, which is different to Charlie, so he's a little bit different that way. But he certainly put some forward pressure on, which is good.
Is he any relation, just quickly, the Sextons to Alex at the Gold Coast? Is there anything there? No, there you go.
Nothing there. No, his dad, Damien, played
for the Swans
before I got there.
Okay.
So I got hold
almost 6 degrees of separation.
Nearly, yeah. I'm still really good friends with Darren Creswell, who coaches at Wangaratta, and he's got friends with Damien, so that's how I got some connection there.
And also that research with Creswell, obviously, no doubt you would have had a bit of a look through the Ovens and Murray about some of those guys that you have recruited because of the quality that competition possesses.
Yeah, for sure. And we got a few extra Yarrawonga boys who are in the twos as well, so increases our depth. We've probably got about 6 or 7 now from Yarrawonga at the club. So that's been a real positive for us.
What's the general expectation, Rocket? It's been frustrating. Sometimes you've had some games where you win well, and then the performance, the odd bad performance. How are you going to measure that this year and try and get that consistency week in and week out, particularly when you get these quality players into your lineup?
Yeah, I think that's the same for every team. I think we're also going to face it this year. COVID, obviously, players are going to miss.
Yeah.
And that's not only injury, but COVID's going to hit teams. So that's going to force an up and down and affect your depth. I think we know that, and there's a new strain coming at the moment. So I think it's just going to happen. But I think, fortunately, I think we'll just keep on playing, which is good. But the consistency, I think it's just a matter of the expectations. And we would think we're aiming for the finals, and that's what we want to do. So we just want to get enough wins. We might be up and down at some stage, but certainly that's where we're aiming.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, Rocket, thanks heaps for joining us, mate, on the pre-game, and hopefully today is the start of something big for Balwyn this year.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Too easy there. Rodney
Good luck,
Ede from the Balwyn Football Club there, and we're just going to be joined by Brendan Allen as well from Blackburn. It's going to be almost an immediately switch, Brash. Look at this. They're just exchanging pleasantries there. But
while we're waiting for Brendan,
Rocket
is just well known right around everywhere and does such a great job with the media. But as a 16-year-old, Rocket came and lived in Blackburn South, and he was playing at Hawthorn at that time. So he's come from Tassie, and it's just
Glenorchy. Pretty sure he's a Glenorchy boy or that area.
He was, I think.
His uncle or
went to
old man. There's
Blackie South High, which later became Forrestal College.
Self-indulge here, sorry, Spider. I'm going to self-indulge. I think I led Glenorchy to victory in the Brighton Ede Trophy last year. Glenorchy and Newtown in the cricket. It's very. I don't think there's an honour board for it, but we got a little trophy.
And Rocket was a great cricketer too.
Was he? There you go.
Great cricketer.
We'll have to bring him back. Get him back.
He'd definitely be in Tassie's team of the century, I reckon.
Absolutely. We'll grab Brendan Allen now as we exchange over. Brendan, you were just exchanging pleasantries with your peer and foe today. You'd be pretty excited as well, like Rocket was, to finally get the season underway after what feels like ages.
Yeah, especially being the standalone game everyone else playing 2 weeks ago. It's great to be out here with the boys running around, and it's a perfect day for it too. It's great.
Absolutely. List changeover. There's been a little bit. You guys are obviously pushing through some youth. Tell us a bit about some of the guys that are pushing through the ranks at the moment.
You'll see some new guys out there today in Christian Zalik and Lewis Downey. They both played in our 19s last year. I think Louis won the goal kicking for the comp, actually. Yep. And then Jack Brooks is a Shepparton boy, so he's come down. He got cut late off North Melbourne's VFL list, right. But his mates with a few of the boys down here and fell on our lap more than anything. So it's great. So they're always the nice ones. But then we just we've got some growth in our kids that have. Lockie Baget has had a fantastic pre-season. You won't notice him. He's trim, taut, and terrific. Yeah. Got himself in the best nick that he's ever been, and then we've pretty much got to recruit in Jack Roughsedge. Yeah. He hasn't played footy for a couple of years, and he's flying at the moment, so it's good.
Brendan, I went and had a look at Vermont last week, and it's obviously been a bit of a change in the garden. I've had a look at Blackburn's list, and it seems like you're in the same vein. Are you saying that Blackburn might be on a bit of a rebuild now?
I hope not. We'll find out. But look,
you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
You've had a wealth of experience that have left when you look at compared to the last 2 years, and obviously Blackburn has been very strong, has a very strong junior development, which now is the opportunity to start giving those guys and pushing the club through. So that's what I'm basing it on.
Yeah, it's opportunity that's arising now. I mean, to the point where our development team I can't remember what the percentage was last year.
It was getting chilly.
I think it was about 254, mate.
I reckon it was more than that.
It was actually hard to manage, to be honest, because the guys were showing up and didn't have the incentive to go out there with the contest.
Well, it is hard, isn't it? Yeah.
And then we'd get them up into the senior team, and bad habits had formed, and they hadn't played at an intensity like the senior football, and we were falling short. So
it's comparable to what Berwick's issue was before they came over.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
It's hard to play when you're winning all the time.
Nah, so like even this scoreline at the moment, this is actually good for our.
Yeah, well,
boys.
we did mention that to Rodney, and
it's a contest, and that's what you want. That's why the boys show up week in, week out to play a game of footy. So you don't want to win by 150 points. It's just
not all the time.
The fun gets sucked out of it. Yeah, it does. So and. On the back of the question, like as I said, the opportunity has arisen. Like I said, Pat Cotton's work's made that he can't obviously play this year. Jake Hammond's retired. Ben Danaher's got a lot of MND stuff, so he's actually going to play a few games with a mate down in Moe. So there's opportunity for these kids to come through and then be the next wave. Are we in a rebuild? Probably not. If you look at our age demographic and the players that are still there, there's you got 4 or 5 new ones, but it's not a 10 or 12 new list in there. So you still got a fair nucleus in there. So,
Brendan, Matt Lee here. Great to speak to you. You look at your side, your forward line structure. Last year was a bit of a problem at times. At times it looked a little bit dysfunctional and it was hard to manage. I know Paul Hudson did a great job at trying to set that up and tried to get it cohesively working. What have you done in the off-season to address the issue and try and get some big scores this year?
Well, it was a focus. We only had Jake for one game last year, and when you expect to have someone there the whole time,
who's a big focal point too.
Correct, and you train with him there all preseason, then he obviously gets injured in the first game, you lose him for the next 8, I think it was. It changes things. So we've had a real focus on being a bit more dynamic and a bit more flexible up front. So blokes can play multiple roles, and that's the same with our midfield as well. We want to be hard to play on and flexible. So if something's not working, for instance, like Liam Murphy's going to start down back today, he could potentially go midfield or forward.
Yeah, and then look at that other end too, and look at a guy like Kyle Dove, who's been a really good player for you over a period of time, and will he play ruck today against Elliott? That's usually the duel that goes around. How do you see that playing?
He's probably played more key back, especially when Lockie Howe was with us. But Lockie Harry has had a pre-season with North Melbourne. He's actually on their supplementary list. Yeah,
it's a great result, isn't it?
So he's improved no end. So Lockie will get first crack. W will probably play back, but at times he will play in the ruck. Yep.
How do you manage, speaking of the back line, and we've spoken about your forward line, Balwyn's forward line is pretty exciting on paper. Sometimes on a ground like today as well, it might be too many chefs in the kitchen, but how are you going to play it today? It's going to have to be a collective effort, you would assume.
And it all starts in the midfield. If you can't get pressure on the ball going in, well, good luck to anyone.
Yeah.
So, especially with the talent up there. So, you got to have pressure with the ball coming into that forward 50, and then it makes it a little bit easier for blokes to drift off and intercept and go from there. It's just, it's a team defence. That's what we play. So that's where it all starts, is at the source. So can't get it right there. Well, yeah, we're going to be licking the wounds a little bit.
Did you make any other changes to your assistant coaches in the off-season?
So Paul's actually, he's full-time Yarra Valley Grammar, so we've missed Hutto, but Chad Nielsen's come up from the development team.
Good man, Chad, premiership player.
So
yes.
East Burwood premiership player. He just told us then he did the jumper presentation for the new guys. So, but
don't start Spider on East Burwood, please, Brendan. We've only got so much time.
No.
So he's a good man, and the boys respect him, and he knows his footy. So it's that's probably the one major change there.
Very good,
Brendan. What with knowing what the tangibles are going to be off the field this year, you know, with COVID and obviously, you know, a new club up into Premier Division. Are you seeing Premier Division being a lot closer this year than it has been in previous years, just on an observation?
I think if you look at the actual talent that's been pulled out of the comp this year, it's going to be closer. And, you know, rightly or wrongly, guys are moving around. You can debate on why for other reasons, but I mean, it's still the premier comp outside the VFL, I feel. And I think if you don't show up, you'll get beaten. It's pretty simple. So you got to show up week in, week out, and depth's going to be a big issue come middle of the year with
Absolutely.
COVID.
Well, yeah, especially when it gets cold, blokes are already they're hesitant to train anyway, especially when there's a chance of COVID. But anyway, Brendan, let's not talk about that stuff, mate. Footy's finally back here at Moreton Park, and hopefully for you and the rest of the gang, you can get a win in front of the new club rooms for the first time. So good luck, and thanks for joining us.
I knew that was coming at some point.
I left it right to the end. Brendan Allen there, the Blackburn senior coach, joining us here on EFNL Match of the Day pre-game. It's been a couple of good chats there, Spider, wasn't it? Insightful.
No, both coaches, very well, professional, mature, and know what their clubs are striving for this season. So I think from when you look at the Blackburn side of things, Brendan's got this clear direction of bringing that.
Both coaches have been here. Sorry, cut you off there, Spider. How many years, Brendan? To be 5 or 6 years now, Brash and Rocket 3 or 4.
Yeah, he took over from Dan Donati.
Yeah, no, Marty Pask had a year, and then he took over. So yeah, probably 3 or 4 years. So both coaches are sort of well entrenched within the club culture now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and both have got clear directions of where their club's heading. I mean, Brendan's basically got the young players coming through. He looks like he's got it all under control, and then Rocket, going out, he's got a little bit of experience, and they've picked off a few VFL players and got some players in due to circumstance. So I think both clubs are really set up for the years going forward.
I found it interesting, Brash. Obviously, Blackburn, as Brendan mentioned, they're developing from within, and it's very exciting to hear that Lachlan Harry, we saw him ruck against Whale Buxton. Obviously, Whale Buxton is probably the premier local ruckman, but he looked, he was probably 60 kilos lighter and didn't have the running capacity and so on. But I'm excited to see what he produces today if he's on North Melbourne's supplementary list, how big he's got. I think he's probably going to add muscle, but also his confidence. So it'll be interesting because that was an area where each week Blackburn, we watched them against South Croydon, Max King tore them apart. The week before, Zach Clark had torn him apart. So ruck was an area where they struggled last year. So I'm excited to see how he goes. But then on the Balwyn side of things, it's coming about from just being a suburb that's close to universities and public transport. And that's probably something they've never had to do before. But with the lower cap, Brash, they've actually got to start thinking on their feet, and it's quite clever.
Well, it is. And the thing is, look, as Brendan alluded to, the reason why there's been, there are many reasons why there's been so much player movement, in the last 2 years. I think, without basically saying it, the salary cap, the dollar value in the salary cap since 2019 I think
you almost take it because it's such a big difference.
You have a target on your back, don't you? I mean, other clubs want to cherry pick you and they want to get you.
However,
players.
that being said, I was a little bit, to be honest, concerned at the end of 2019 that the salary cap...
It was getting out of hand.
It was, and I was getting really worried because it was almost like some of the teams in all the divisions. I'm not saying... it was right across the board. Some of them were prepared to sell their soul to the devil to try and win a flag.
We haven't got enough time to go into this into proper depth, but it's a good point because I don't see the benefit as a benefactor. Obviously, I love my sporting clubs, but I couldn't put the amount of money that was put down just to win a local sporting premiership. Like, what does it mean in the grand scheme? But it's a good point, Brash. So I think it got cut probably more than everyone would have liked, but it needed to be cut.
And that's the thing, and that's why I'm thinking that. That's why I'm thinking that the competitions in all divisions will be close.
Well, let's hope so. But I just think clubs have still got to be very cautious. And we look at some of the clubs that have been
even more so
down the bottom end of Premier Division in particular. Look, we know Park Orchards has just come in, and let's hope they stay and consolidate. But a club like North Ringwood currently that hasn't enjoyed much success since coming back up to the top flight, whether it be Division 1 or the newly formed Premier competition, they need to keep winning games. And unfortunately, at the moment, they're just not doing that on a regular basis. And if they keep having more years with only winning 2 or 3 games, you're going to lose more players to your footy club. That drives your success down.
I've kept records on this for most years, Matt, and you've got to win at least. You're going to stay up in Premier. You're going to win at least 5 games.
Yeah,
you've got to win a minimum 5 games. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
Yeah. There's no point staying up if you're not winning games.
Does that change this year with 12 teams in it?
I think I'm.
Do you think you need more wins or less wins with 12?
I think it might be a win or 2 less.
Yeah, maybe year. 1 less, just because there's so many sides pinching wins off each other.
Yeah,
and the fact there's the gap, and also the
so if Rodney, as you said off air, they reckon there's probably 5 or 6 players in this reserve. So right at the moment where they'd be pretty confident just swapping them in.
Yeah,
right now. So they've got, let's say, 30 players. Blackburn, if they're in if like you said, if COVID runs through the club, there could be a game where they're going out with a second string side against maybe a Park Orchards at full strength.
And in essence, they could lose the next game as well, because that's not to say that those players are going to be feeling 100%.
No, absolutely. They'll come back.
They'll come back.
You usually, after my experience, and I've heard from other people, that you come back pretty much 75, 80%. So they may play, but they won't be at the level they were.
No.
So it is interesting. I think you're right. That means 4 wins might be enough because clubs at the top end aren't just going to keep belting sides.
Have we got a protocol in place this year, Matt, from a league perspective, in terms of if there is a COVID outbreak with a particular team and a match can't go ahead?
If they can't go ahead, I think they forfeit, to be honest.
Is there a 2-point share? Because I know there are other competitions that are doing 2 points.
I'm sure all clubs across it. I haven't read it, I'll be honest. I haven't had the motivation to read.
It's just more of a, because there's probably people...
I would suspect it's play on at all costs. So there's none of this, we've got our 10 best players out. If your 10 best players are out, you just push blokes up and hope for the best. I think that's the way we can talk about this. We have got a longer build-up because it's a 2:20 start today and there's no simulcast. So we're going to go to another break here on the pre-game. And after that, we might try and squeeze the great Ray Baird on for a chat.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair. Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local to your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park. EFL Game Day. Good Friday football between Blackburn and Balwyn. Some Premier Division action coming out. Your first time we've covered Premier Division this year, and first time these two sides have set foot in a competitive game. Obviously, had to wait for the standalone. Blackburn love a standalone in the opening month as well. We've got Anzac Day next Monday. We'll be back here for that one against South Croydon. But we've chatted to both coaches, Brash. We've talked a bit about these two clubs, and we will, of course, throughout the day. Let's steer away to other things that are going on. Yep. And the great Ray Baird, he's taken a back seat this year, but he was out at Rowville to watch the Mighty Hawks get a win over Noel Park last week. Raymond, good to hear your voice again, but also tell us a bit about the Hawks. That was a massive win.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us on, guys. I just come to have a look at a game of football and you get thrown the microphone. No, look, it was very pleasing as a Rowville supporter. They're a very, very young side. I think that my mate Paul and I, who went down there and had a look at it, I think we knew 3 or 4 of the players. That was it. But look, this year Spud Frawley has stepped down as captain. He's still playing in the midfield. Anthony Brolick is the new captain. And
that's good.
He certainly led by example last week. Look, they jumped out of the blocks last week. They kicked 2 goals in the first couple
against the wind too, wasn't it?
Against the wind too. And a little bit of undisciplined play after that when Noble Park did get their first goal. There was a little bit of a push and shove and all this. When I say that, I think nearly every player on the field was involved, but there was nothing really, in it.
Handbags.
And another free kick. So they got 2 goals out of the one there, Noble Park. But apart from that, look, every quarter they were outplayed by the young Roval side. Now, whether or not Roval, they're going to keep this up, week in, week out, that's another story. But look, they're on the right track. They're playing the kids. They've had a great junior program down there, and they're going to get the benefits of it. They're a big chance this week because they come up against North Ringwood at Quamby. And, looking at last week's results, and we don't know how good.
A big chance to go 2-0.
That's right. But you still got to win the game. That's it. Look, the Garner boys have all gone. They've all gone up to South Belgrade. Mitch Garner, would have dominated that game because there was even Noble Park. They're not a tall side.
No, and they recruited Jack Beach from Knox, but I don't think he played.
No, he didn't. No.
What about Noble Park then, Ray? We spoke to Ben Wise last Sunday.
Yeah.
So what about Noble Park? Because from all reports, when Kyle Martin was on the ground, they might have just edged the contest, but every time he went off, Roeville stormed over him.
Look, it's the same old Kyle Martin. Look, when you've got young players come into that side as well, and you've got a player of the ilk of Kyle Martin, and he demands the ball, they give him the ball. But, there's a percentage of that time where he's in the wrong position and he shouldn't be getting the ball and he shouldn't be calling for it. Look, he's a great player. There's no doubt about that. But I think they're going to struggle. You go back, I just forget their name. Some of their forwards who were around, 5-6 years.
Shane
Allen.
Yeah, that's one I mean. Yeah, he actually come off the bench, but he's not the dominant player he used to be.
No, well, he's closer to 40 than 30.
Right. And the same with Ziggy Elwyn. He kicked a couple of goals, but they were sort of right towards the end of the game. So those
doesn't
players
have that big influence on games like he was.
Those players that have carried Noble Park over the last 10 years, the couple that are left there, they come to the end of their career. And look, it's the young guys in the game now. That's the way you got to go. And I think that Roval are on the right track.
What about the rest of the competitions then?
Yeah.
You've been keeping an eye on the lower division. South Belgrave have impressed, obviously, with the Garner boys.
Well, they're going to be hard to beat. When Damien Garner was always a good player, and he's been
and not even playing at the moment. Taylor and Damien and haven't played yet.
No, they haven't played yet. But you got Taylor Garner come straight off North Melbourne list. You're going up there to play. And Mitch Garner, I rated Mitch Garner in the top 3 ruckmen in Premier Division over the last 3 or 4 years, and I think Brash should agree with that.
Yeah, Ray, probably as one side that's probably surprised us in the opening couple of rounds, Fair Park.
Yeah, Fair Park, they've jumped out of the blocks, but look, they're on the right track. They coach well, and I think
they're moving the ball well too.
They've got their act together off the field now, and the new facilities coming along. They're going to be a club, I think, that are going to climb up the ladder through the divisions.
Yeah. What about? Have you been able to cast your eye over the Division 4? Only a 6-team, 17 competition this year with only 3 games every week. How are you seeing that? Have you seen any of their games?
No, I haven't seen any of their games at all, Brash. But the first game of the year, I went down to Scoresby and saw them against
Glen Waverley,
not Division 4, but Division 3. Glen Waverley have probably got 8 or 9 players from St Mary's, including the coach.
They've got 8. They've got about 15, but maybe 8 or 9 in the ones.
Look, they weren't impressive again. Look, when I got there at half time that day, because we know it was a terrible weather and nice and close to home, they were 4 goals in front of Scoresby.
Yeah, they kicked the first 3 or 4. Yeah,
but after half time, Scoresby just outplayed them, and I think it was a rude awakening to those boys.
And then Scoresby lost by almost 100 points.
Yeah, I know. Look, we don't really know. Look, no one knows what any of the divisions, what's going to happen because of COVID and all that. So it's going to take 6 or 8 weeks, I reckon, in all divisions to settle down. The only thing I'd like to say, me, guys, Mr. Controversial, I can't understand why we have a bye in Division 3 and a bye in Division 4. Surely those teams could have been...
Well, the only thing would be the side you would have pushed down the top of the Division 3 ladder at the moment in Fair Park. So, it's not desirable, but I think it's just. I think with only 8 games of footy played in the last 2 years, it was pretty hard to tell someone to shove off. Exactly. Let's talk about the other Good Friday game, gents, while we're here. Waverley Blues and Ferntree Gully. It's a big game for Ferntree Gully because that loss to Fair Park would have caught them by surprise.
Yeah.
And the Waverley Blues are pretty impressive when they're on song. They're they beat Whitehorse by 6 goals last week in a high-scoring game, and they really, having watched the last quarter and a bit against Warrandyte, they probably should have won that game as well. It's a big test for Ferntree Gully, and if the Eagles go 0-2, it's a long way back.
It is a long way back, and I think that Frenchy Gully over the last few years played their best football up at Wally 2 Reserve as well, Brash. You'd agree with that, and
I do.
And to be playing down at Waverley Blues, I really can't see them winning that game today. What about you, Spider?
I think Waverley will win that game comfortably, to be honest. I think they're a side to really watch this year, Waverley Blues. I like the way that they're coached. I like their ball movement. We've spoken about it on a couple of the programs right throughout the year so far. I just think that they're the way that they're moving the ball, the transition, that rebound, and that dangerous forward line setup. I think they're going to be a side right up near the top end of the ladder this season.
Well, obviously with Michael and Top not playing for Furniture Gully this year, that hurts them a bit. But they really, looked at Lockie McCombs down there. He's really going to have to. They're going to have to lift with him along with Kieran Gray in that midfield. They're going to have.
I think they're good players, good like Furniture Gully. It's just that depth, isn't it?
Yeah,
Whereas Waverley Blues each year, like their 19s didn't lose a game last year, and now their 19s playing Premier Division this year. And if we look at sides like Eastfield and Surrey Park and Balwyn, clubs that are able to get their 19s into Premier Division quicker, it's a good sign that you're on the right track.
It's hard though when, like you said, I mean, who's going to lose the most out of that victory or loss? Who's it going to hurt the most? I think.
Well, both sides. So if Waverley Blues lose, they'll be 1 and 2, but they've also played Warrandyte and Furniture Gully.
The Warrandyte performance was a good one, and they just fell short.
But I just think though, if Waverley Blues lose today, then I still think that
You're not sold on them, are you, Brash?
I'm sold on them only because I think they could recover from a poor start, like a 1 and 2 start. Whereas I doubt whether Furniture Gully could recover from a Norton 3 or Norton 2 start. That's based on.
Yeah, they're an interesting case, aren't they? Furniture Gully.
Yeah.
They're a very interesting case of club because they're another club. You look at them on the surface and go, they should be higher.
They're good on their day, though. They're very good. They're a good side on their day when the good Furniture Gully turns up. But for them, it's always about the consistency. They find it hard to string months, like a good month of football together where they get on a roll. I think that's the thing. If you can get on a roll this year and win 4-6 games, especially in the opening 8 to 10 weeks, that's going to set you up for the second half of the season, especially on the going through that winter period.
Brash, we go back 4 or 5 years with Furniture Gully, and I'm a great believer with the clock issue with football. If you peak at 11 o'clock and if you haven't won a premiership by 2 o'clock, you've got to go all the way around that clock again. And I think Furniture Gully are in that at the moment. And I think they're down at 6 o'clock at the moment because, 4 or 5, they won a premiership and got up to 3rd division, and then since then they really
Well, the year South Belgrave won it, they were the next best, and then they went out in straight sets.
That's right, exactly right. So, that's past them, and I think it's a long road right around
And it's
again.
a good point as well because that was the last full season we played. So if you're looking at it without knowing that we haven't played footy in 2 years, you go, well, they're still in the thing. But you got to remember that 2 years have passed, so everyone's clocks kept moving despite the fact there's been no footy. So you look at Furniture Gully, look at Vermont, even Blackburn are a good example today. Even Ringwood. Ringwood's another good example where they were right in that peak. They didn't win one.
No.
And now their clocks actually kept ticking despite not playing footy.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and that's why I talk about the cycle so often. The cycle does come every 10 or so years. Everyone, you can move up and move down. But if you're not, if you're in a division for a long period of time, let's give Blackburn that example that we spoke about earlier. Like after about 20 years, if you're not getting that ultimate success, you go and you're bringing the kids through and it's not happening and you're getting cherry-picked by other clubs, well, you still got to start to wonder, how are you going to get the next group of guys through to have that success? You can't just be clubs like North Ringwood sitting at the bottom end of the ladder for year after year after year. Something has to give eventually. So I think some of those clubs have to be more vigorous in their forward planning because we're starting to see that cycle. Clubs like Donvale, Scoresby, they're starting to gradually, trying to work their way back up. We're seeing clubs like Mitcham that have done that. They've got back up to Division 1, and we're seeing even clubs like Doncaster and Doncaster East that are now on that trajectory as well.
However, though, Spider, look, as we well know, right, every side that we've covered in the last 5 years, right, you get to know where your limit is, right?
You find your level.
You find your level.
Correct.
And look, in fairness to Furniture Gully, as Ray...
I think Furniture Gully's level should be higher than Div 3.
It's right.
It should.
It should be, yes.
But that's the thing. They didn't cash in on that success, as Ray's alluded to, and weren't able to recruit the players to take them up to the next level. And that's what all the clubs are striving. I mean, Spider, you're talking about like cherry picking. Well, in this salary-starved environment, I wouldn't think there'd be too many clubs cherry picking. I think it's more the case that a lot of players.
The only thing you can offer is opportunities.
Yeah, and whether you want to play with a club that you know is going to ultimately get you to play finals, and also the promise of being part of a premiership side. And that's what players in this day and age are probably looking at.
And let's talk about another club in that division. That's Coldstream. Now, I think they are a club that's completely different to Ferntree Gully. Coldstream, for me, are a side that, in the next couple of years, there's going to be people who want to go and play football at Coldstream because they're on the way up.
Well, it's an interesting case, isn't it, Coldstream? But they are so far out, so you've got to strike while they're on top because, as we've seen, they can fall like a stone as well, just because of their location. They don't have that benefit of being in what would you call a marquee location.
That was what I was going to ask. That was my next question to Ray. Ray, if Coldstream won the flag again this year and go up to Div 2, right? Now,
I think Div 2 is as far as they can go organically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Can they, without getting they need prime recruits to take them up to that next level in Div 2 because there is a quantum leap even between Div 3 and Div 2. So are we saying that for as good as what Coldstream have been over the last 3 to 5 years, if they happen to win the flag this year, that potentially Division 2 is about as far as they can
I think you've got to look at the whole landscape.
Yeah,
you've got to you've got to look at Coldstream. Their juniors are all usually C grade if they've got them. They've also got, like you said, they could claim it's a growth area because I think there's a new estate going up there, but it's not like your Berwick's where it's a proper growth area.
No.
So I think, Div 2 would be above expectations, but I look at Ferntree Gully, there's kids everywhere. Yeah. They got junior sides. For years, they used to just have about 5 or 6 kids a year get drafted, and they were still in the bottom division.
And in fact, and to be quite honest, if you were both upper Ferntree Gully and Ferntree Gully, and I'm putting both of them in there, they've both been pretty disappointing considering the amount of young people.
Yeah.
Right, because we're saying that Ferntree Gully aren't going that well. Well, Upper Ferntree Gully aren't going that much better either.
Brash, the thing with Upper Ferntree Gully, and I suppose I'm not in a position to say this, but I will say it anyway, I think that their biggest problem is what happens off-field at that football club. I think that they've really got to get their act together off the field, and then because they've lost so many players.
Off-field is so important because, like you said, Fair Park start to steady off-field, all of a sudden they're 2-0. And again, I think Division 3 is probably, again, without being harsh to them, a bit of a ceiling. Like, it's quite a small area, Fair Park. You look at Baronia, they've got all the off-field stuff down. They have one of the best sort of organised administration. They missed their window. They're going to try and circle back again. Have like Baronia, they have more scope to go up. It's quite an interesting thing because I think in the next 2 or 3 years with the smaller salary cap, which might grow ever so much, but it won't get back to its heights of, as you said, 2018, 2019, where money trumped everything else. I think we're going to see teams sort of fluctuate and find their level, and it's going to be interesting. And that's why people like playing in the East Football Netball League because you can find your level and play competitive football in any division. Obviously, there's sides that at the moment are a bit out of their depth, but that's just the way things are happening. So it'll be interesting to see which clubs can go up and down, Brash, and find their spot.
And the one thing we've all watched a lot of football collectively amongst us, and for so many years, the one thing that you can't put a value on, but it's one thing, right, that can split you between you making a choice of going to one club over another, and that is culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the thing is, if you are
and you can measure that by a club like Blackburn had so many reserves. So you would have to say those guys, as Brendan said, it was hard to keep them motivated when they win by 100 points every week minimum. So it must have good culture to hang around for 3 or 4 years.
And that's because I know exactly what he was talking about because last year there was only 3 sides.
That had good reserves.
They had good reserves.
And even Division 1 this year, it looks like it's Mitcham and Montrose already going to play in the reserves final. It's pretty much locked away.
People that are hanging around after matches or being at the club on Thursday nights.
A good environment.
Good environment. I mean, I can openly say, like for an example, I was up at Eastwood a couple of weeks ago. There was over 100 people there for dinner. Like 3 years ago, you would barely have had 30 or 40 people there because that's where they were at prior to that rebuild.
But that's because your club's tried to work hard on changing a culture, right, or shake off a culture right, from years gone by. And now that you're bringing in new players and new families and a whole new committee into the mould now, Spider.
Yeah, it's a regeneration because those 19s that have come through the junior part of the club, it's a new wave of people.
And that's the thing, but they're the people, it's those people, they're going to drive the culture, they're going to drive the next generation. They're the ones that have got to move the club forward. That's where we're at.
Just quickly, boys, another club I really like to speak about and get your take on, that's Bayswater. They've had 3 or 4 lean years in the past, even before COVID, their years weren't that great. But they're a club to me, and I was involved there years ago, as a stats man and all that, so I've seen it from the inside there. They tend to peak every 4 years. They don't spend money, for 3 years or so, and then then the 4th year or so they go and they look for players.
They've had a couple of premierships.
Yeah, but they've had a pretty good start to the year.
They've been impressive despite winning. We got to go to a break here, and then we come to the other side. We should still have about 15 minutes before the first bounce, so we can continue this engaging discussion. Should we wish? And Gav Casey is also going to jump on as well before a big game of Good Friday football here from Moreton Park between Blackburn and Balwyn.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday game day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Back at Moreton Park for some Good Friday Eastern Football Netball League football, brought to you by Eastland on the SEN app and on EFL Facebook and YouTube. Matthew Fodier here. Pre-game, it was engaging pre-game with Matt Spotterlee, Wayne Brasher, Rodney Ede, Brendan Allen, and of course Ray Baird. plenty of different topics, which was good, and obviously with only one other game going on today, it was good to talk about all other aspects of local football as well. I'm joined now by Gavin Casey for the first time on not a Saturday, on a game day this year, Gavin. It's good to have you back at the local footy. Mate, this will be your first game of local footy for this year. You excited?
Definitely. I haven't actually been to a football ground where there's been footballers playing in the middle of it, other than dog walkers and people throwing tennis balls around. It's a different experience now.
Do you call that as well, or no?
Well, that's not going to win your friends.
No, exactly. What are you looking forward to most about today? Because there is quite a crowd building. Obviously, the standalone game and Blackburn and Balwyn, especially Blackburn, have got some pretty parochial followers.
Well, I fancied Balwyn in the middle of the year. I saw a game against Donny, and it just looked like they were coming good, and then they beat South Croydon and the season stopped. For mine, they were the big challenger. I would have
had them as favourite before the season ended. Yeah.
The fact is they had the firepower to fire on any given day. So for me, they were the watch going. But Blackburn, 2019 grand finalists, beat Balwyn in a preliminary final, lost a lot of experience, had a less than 50-50 record by the close of last season. For me, they're the interesting case study today, because we do recognise names, but there's going to be blooding of youth. Even last year, they recruited some talls, and they were excited about it. But the years that we've had, players have come and gone due to circumstances. So Blackburn, for me, is something. It's almost like a blank canvas as much as it can be. We know half their players, but, their lineup going forward, this is an interesting day for them.
It's a watch, isn't it? Because I look at the team list, and like you, Gav, I'm looking at it going, Balwyn were hitting their straps. They didn't, obviously, they obviously didn't get the chance to play finals football, but the two different things were obviously the forward half dynamism. They had proper guys, like there was 3 guys in that forward line that could kick 10 goals on any day. Haley did it last year, but we know Lyle can. I think what Jordan Lyle kick at Port Melbourne? I think he had 198 goals from 93 games. So he's kicking 2 goals a game. He kicked 3 goals a game in the knee full. So he averages plenty of goals and 20 goals in 9 games. And then Goebels is Jeff Goebels. So they've got plenty of firepower, but they score from back half in terms of they don't rely on turnover. And I know turnover is the in vogue thing, but I think it's not the prettiest of football, if you know what I mean. If you're a purist, you'd rather a side like a Balwyn that a Chris Pendlebury can take an intercept mark and they can cut you up by foot, rather than those sides. I know it's in vogue and it probably works. We've got teams just get it in the forward half and let's just tackle you to death.
Well, we both love European football.
We do.
And Balwyn,
I haven't mentioned Serie A yet today.
And don't. So Balwyn's got that transition style of the accordion. It goes forward and it goes back. When they don't have the ball, it squeezes back. Numbers get back. Then they slow it down so there's players forward, and then they move.
I think the thing is, though, Gav, is the fact that player like Goebels, who probably leads the charge that way, is that type of player that really does stretch opposition because of his ability to run up and down the ground. And the thing is, he catches you out because at times he'll sneak out the back door and he'll get he'll find space, to be at the end on the pace, and that's what Balwyn are good at. Their half forwards and their full forwards are quite prepared to push up the ground, mainly because they're confident in their other players' ability to win the ball and to create opportunity to do their magic when the ball gets back down in their forward 50.
Well, it's not many times you can say you got reliable fire starters, because
I like that term as well.
That is.
I like that term.
Goebels only has to have as many touches to kick goals, and it's a fluid structure.
Haley's the same too. They could have 8 touches and kick 4-3.
You know that Lyle's going to play big. You know that Goebels is going to find space for himself, hit up, and can do a bit of running back towards goal and catch you out. Haley, he's just a wiggle worm. He just doesn't like being touched.
It's been a strong start from you today, Gav. Wiggle worm and fire starter.
Wiggle worm, that's a good
agree,
one.
But I like your view on Lyle. He's almost like he's just like a fulcrum. They know he's going to be there.
Yeah.
He's a get-out kick, but also I don't think you're going to outmark him. Like he's a brute of a man. He's a bit like Wale Buxton. He might not be quite as aesthetically pleasing, maybe. Wale Buxton was chiseled, but I'd think about them similar build, similar height, similar strength. You can sort of set Lyle up 25 metres out from goal and know, look, if all else fails, we've got the fulcrum. and kick it to him. And obviously he's a gun himself. He averages 2-3 goals a game in state league footy. But yeah, it's another interesting point on the way Balwyn structure up their forward line.
It's interesting to hear Casey as a forward having to play back because Pendlebury's the only other tall that they can rely on.
And also just give him opportunity, I guess, to sort of shine. And we see it in the AFL. Like, plenty of blokes Norton's the opposite, but like a Sicily and a Darcy Moore that actually started as these up-and-coming young forwards and have turned into fantastic key defenders. So maybe that's – look, Rodney Ede's probably a better footy mind than the three of us, so we'll back him in. But it's an interesting point because when I looking a few stats today to get a bit of stats up so I can sound smart on the thing, he kicked about a goal a game, had Matthew Casey and Yarrawonga, and yet Rodney Ede all pre-season was telling me, he's a key defender. We're going to play him key defence. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they get injuries or COVID, they swing him forward maybe later in the year.
Yeah, I think it's interesting with the ruck situation for them and the old ball unit. They've got stars, of course, they have with Cross and Oakes coming across from Noble Park and Richmond. And there's sort of... that Jaffa Williams is a bit of a floater from half forward. He always can be electric at times.
Alex Urban on a wing.
He's come up through the ranks, which is great for Balwyn, and he's got better every season. So he's sort of coming towards his peak, and it's good that they've got players they can rely on. It's just have they got the run on the wings, and with their structure, what's their pace of movement going to be going forward? And Blackburn, much the same. I've watched their reserves, actually, Blackburn, and I've noticed two blokes taking marks in the forward line. I'm like, they could be playing seniors.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing. And I think we will see a lot more of those guys get a go. One, again, the elephant in the room, that COVID will hit people. It's just a matter of time. But also as we've all mentioned, Blackburn have to start giving those reserves blokes a game. We've seen a couple of them. Marcus Young's gone to Eastburn, James Kentworthy's gone to Surrey Park. They've obviously been either Balwyn have improved or they've weakened a little bit because it's only a 10-goal win today. Usually that's a 150-point win.
Well, they didn't kick a goal. Blackburn 11, 13, 79.
And Brendan Allen mentioned it. They want to get some incentive for these guys to keep coming back. So it's interesting to see whether those guys do get more footy. That's great man, Steve Buckle.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Where is he?
Well, I think he's just watching footy. I don't think he's associated with any club this year, from my opinion. On a quick change of direction?
No.
Was he there last week, Brash?
He was.
And how is the great man going?
He's going very well. He's enjoying his time away from football. Funny thing, he said to me, he goes, if he'd probably still be coaching if he wasn't pushed.
Yeah,
I reckon. Because I think, look, he has a genuine love for football. Does
he have a bit of Alistair? They talk about in the AFL that Clarkson's hovering over all the coaches' shoulders. There's a bit about that for Steve Buckle, maybe not in the Premier Division, but definitely in some of the other divisions. I
think he wants to get back into it.
Yeah.
But I think it's. I think he's enjoying. He said to me he's enjoying putting time in with his
kids.
With his sons.
Well, they just walk past there. They're probably they're definitely on the younger side.
So he's helping out there. So look, I think. As I said to him, well, sometimes you've done it as long as what you have. You've sooner or later got to put time in with your son's football.
Yeah. Well, I think he gets to choose his next job as well. He'll probably have a few offers.
That's what I mean. It's a bit like it's. I don't think Steve Buckle and Alistair Clarkson have ever been compared, but I'm going to do it now. There's a little bit of it where it's sort of like.
Well, when does the Tasmanian team come in?
You reckon Steve could take a role?
Let's be honest.
They do worse.
He never. Let's be honest. He never really got a chance to show his true credentials
at Premier Division.
But
let's hypothetically, we've got a couple minutes before we go to our last break before the action starts. Hypothetically, I reckon his prime time is to try and grab another Division 1 club and get them up straight away.
Yep.
Or right about that. Are there any clubs that you reckon jump off? I know this is a bit of a question out notice, but are there any clubs that jump at you maybe that might be one that Steve could get his claws into?
Oh, Rick, why couldn't he go down to Upper Gully?
Upper Gully, they're a long way off Premier Division though, Brash.
I know, but, they're still in Division 1.
They are at the moment. There's a Croydon. I know Morris has been there for a long time as well. You never know. There might be a little bit of that.
If he wants a real challenge, Upper Gully would be one.
That's a proper challenge at the moment to get them up into this sort of game.
It's hard. Look, he might even think about Knox.
Knox is another great
right across the road from where he lives. That'd be right down his alley.
Exactly.
But then you're sort of predicting someone's doom.
You are. It's a very tentative thing. I don't like doing that as well, but it's a good point. We're going to go to another quick break here on EFNL Game Day. The warm-ups are pretty much done. The teams are out there. Blackburn are out there. Balwyn are out there. On the other side of this break, we'll have the first ball up, not pounce. I hate saying that when we don't do it, as this Good Friday football from Moreton Park, Panthers and Tigers.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to EFNL Game Day here at Moreton Park. Round 1 clash on Good Friday. It's Blackburn hosting Balwyn, their first game for 2022. Gavin Casey joined at the moment by Wayne Brasher, who will do special comments today. Looking forward to the clash, Wayne.
I am, Gavin. Good to have you on board for the first time this season. And look, I think it's going to be a very interesting clash this afternoon. Both sides, as you said, it's their first game of the season. I've already had a look at a Premier Division game, and I think it's going to be a bit like the Fast and the Furious, I reckon, this year. I think it's going to be play on at all costs. Sides are going to want to take the game on early and try and be a point of difference, and in essence, put the acid on the other side to see whether they've got the credentials to keep fighting back.
If you could name a few players to look out for on the stream, wherever you're watching from, whether it be at the ground, tuned in onto the SEN app, who should we be looking out for?
Oh, look, I think you have to say Chris Pendlebury in the back line, ever reliable, right, reads the ball exceptionally well. You've got Sean Cross in the midfield, but the two gun players that we're always interested in because they are the point of difference for the Balwyn Football Club, and that's Jeffrey Gobbles on the half forward or in the forward 50, and Charlie Haley out of a forward pocket. Both Charlie Haley, a mercurial type of player that can change the game in the space of 3 or 4 minutes. whilst for Blackburn, they'll probably be hoping like some of their experience led by Luke Conker. You've got Xavier Murphy, the Murphy brothers, Liam and Xavier. You've got Matt Bartlett, and Kyle Dove as well, and Ryan Baffy is going to have to play an integral role this afternoon in the Blackburn forward line in their quest for victory. Having a look at the having a look at the sides, Gav, and going on previous performances, I'm going to tip Balwyn this afternoon. I just think that their experience is going to set them in good stead.
So Ruck's going at it. It's Anderson for Balwyn versus his opposite number, Harry. Nullified tap down at ground level, picked up by Balwyn. Quick kick out of the centre. Is bouncing around at half forward for the Tigers. It's a holding the man decision. It goes the way of Dunn, who's wearing number 5. And just to confuse us, he wasn't 5 on the team sheet, but we'll get used to the idea of Dunn being 5 as his transition kick goes across the full back line, and that's nice. Switch all the way, finding to Bartlett at half back. It's on the new pavilion.
I reckon they've accidentally selected the wrong Dunn. I think that's Michael Dunn wearing number 5, and they've named James Dunn.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a Dunn, so I haven't made a mistake yet. So that's thank goodness. And the ball goes to half forward where it hits the ground. It'll be another ball up as Blackburn just settling quite nicely. Once they took hold of the ball, they maintained possession along the last line. Now got to half forward. Ground level cross. Gets a quick hand pass his way. The kick goes forward to Sexton. Bouncing ball doesn't suit Jack, but he taps it over his head. Doesn't hit his teammate. And it's now a disputed ball at half forward for Balwyn. There hasn't been much link-up play for them yet. They've rushed their kicks forward, just trying to maintain some territorial advantage. 60 metres away from the Tigers' goal. Rucks go at it. Anderson does get front position, but it goes left to the pack. Cross moves onto it. Hand passes it forward. Finds no one in the black and yellow. So it's a disputed ball at ground level. Players rushing from all directions at the 50-metre arc, close to the boundary line, and the umpire has to come in again and ball it up.
Well, this is what you expect in the opening minutes of a season. Both sides feeling each other out, trying to probe for weaknesses.
Another ball up close to the boundary line. No one winning possession yet. Comes out now, and it's Reed doing some nice work across half-back, sharing it. The kick goes down the line, and they're running from half-back Blackburn. This kick has to be precise. Intercept ball done nicely by Sexton. Ground level, Sexton fights for it again. Oh, the hand pass was very quick by Hanley, but it was straight to his opposition. And Balwyn kick being chopped off by Murphy. That was Liam Murphy. He gets it into the middle of the ground, and it's now slow play. It's in the ruckman's hands of Harry.
Brendan Allen said he'd improved, Brash, and he's already started well, and he looks a lot stronger than he did last year.
Goes out wide to half forward, pavilion side. Ball goes down to ground level. Now it's been sharked by Hart. Hay can't get out of congestion, and as Blackburn just tried to link up with hand passes to get free, but they can't, and it's sent half forward. It's going to be another ball up. We'll go boundary side for Jared for comment.
G'day, gents. So we've got a quick jumper change. We've got Jack Roughsedge in the number 12 rather than the number 40.
Great stuff, and in the perfect spot down boundary side as the umpire throws it up. It's 55 out from the Blackburn goal line, and a free kick has been paid at the stoppage the way of the Tigers. And we're going to McCaffrey.
If Jared, could you check number 5 just for Blackburn for us, mate?
Yep, so that's Mike Dunn rather than James Dunn.
Thank you.
It's been a long layoff for everyone, Brash.
Well, that's done and dusted now, isn't it?
Well done, Gav.
Thanks.
You haven't missed a beat.
No.
Well, the kick went into the middle of the ground. It was nicely trapped there by Jaffa Williams, who was quickly bear-hugged. And we will have another ball up. That was James Hanley there for the Burners.
Balwyn have been impressive around the stoppages, Brash. They're ready to flick it around by handball as well, which is interesting.
Well, Rucks go at it. A little flick backwards way by Harry. The kick goes forward now for Blackburn, who's going to be the flyer. The pack crunch. There it was. Little handball out the side there by Schreiber, who might be pinged for holding the ball here. And the reward for effort is paid. And Blackburn will have by Harry, the first genuine shot on goal.
Brooks there did really well, didn't he, gents? Just to make a contest. It looked like the ball in play was going to sit under it. I think the Schreiber, as you mentioned there, BWS, he was pretty comfortable. Brooks, all he had to do, Brash, was make contest. He's a good size. You know, he's replacing Jake Hammond, so we maybe not expect the goals, but if he can do that, they'll be happy with him.
Well, watch the Red Jackets go up if Jimmy Hanley can put this one through. Comes in now and pushes it right. Give him a rap and he let me down. On behind is the result on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's Good Friday football at its best out here, Premier Division, and it's Blackburn leading by a point.
Short kick out. Balwyn keep possession in the back line. And Rid goes long down the line. Disputed ball again. Underneath it was Goebbels. Ground level one by Jaffa Williams. He just dribbles it forward, gets it in front of Haley. Haley runs into the pocket, puts it on the right, snaps it high, but not handsome. And he's just missed the right as he ran to the boundary line. And it's another minus scores. That's just how quick it can be. It was less than 15 seconds.
Jordan Lyle was not happy at all there because he has a lot of size in both height and probably strength on Mickey Dunn, and he had a bit of separation. Haley went for glory.
Big fly there by Downey at the back, but at the spoils, it was Zagari who got it on the left, and he might be downfield here. He got felled upon after he got rid of the disposal. Did he? No, he's going to bring it back.
Glory.
So, big fly there by few sighs of relief there from the Blackburn faithful, because that would have put them only 20 metres out. He got it on the left, and he might be downfield here. He got felled upon after he got rid of the disposal. Did he know he's going to rough edge? Now on the left boot, he kicks it right towards that hot spot at the fall of the ball. Who's going to be there? Knocked towards the boundary line. The Burners do seem to have the numbers down there. Jaffa Williams was in there for the Tigers. He's got 2 Burners to beat. He won't. And we'll have a ball up about 15, 20 metres out from the Tiger goal line. It's all square out here. 5.5 minutes gone in the first term on Good Friday football. We're out at Moreton Park in Blackburn. And we always love to come. There's always a good crowd out here barging his way through that time. Oh, that's the number we're searching for, 42, as it comes in now in the middle of the ground. Sorry, Oakes went after it. Disregard, Gav, as it goes up towards the wing position. Big knock on forward. That's percentage football. That's the way to do it. If you can't get the disposal, just knock it forward as the kick goes up towards the top of the goal square. And it was a good kick too. It was kicked to space and it was popped up very nicely. And now big knock on forward. That's percentage football. That's the way to do it. And goal will be Jack Brooks, and he'll put this one straight through there without a doubt.
It wasn't glamorous, Matty, but they forced it forward and found space on the fat side of the ground.
Both sides are leaving a lot of space to run into rather than having key position players.
Jack Brooks, he couldn't miss it from there, and he squeezes it home by a centimetre or so. So first goal on the board. First major goes the way of Blackburn, and they lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 9-minute mark of this first term. Sorry, 7-minute mark. I don't have my glasses today.
Yeah, Brush made a good point there about the space, especially Blackburn leading. I think Lyle will be parked in the forward half most of the time, but Blackburn had no players in their forward half when there was that ball up in Balwyn's forward 50, and it was really well done there by Christian Zalak. But burst through, got it working forward, and then as Gav, we talked about counter-attacking, that's what they did. Paddy Lawler probably wouldn't have begrudged him having a shot for goal, but in the end took the percentage play, a set shot from 50 metres out. Brendan Allen will be happy if they get plenty of them. And so far, Brash, I was expecting big things from Balwyn. They do look quicker and slicker when they get it, but Blackburn, so far, so good.
I think the thing that's impressed me about Blackburn is they've benefited more from on the switch so far. They
look like last year they moved it very slow, very Geelong style. It looks like they're a bit more. They want to put a bit more speed on the ball because they don't have that height down forward.
Hence, that's why
they're breaking even in the middle.
And that's why I think that both sides are being really aggressive and wanting to try. It's almost like one side's trying to take ownership of the corridor, Gav.
Long break in between getting the ball back from the backyard around here at Blackburn, but the ball's back in play in the middle of Moreton Park. This time it's won again out of centre by Balwyn, high up and under at half forward. Underneath it, no mark claimed. Quick hand pass forward to Bartlett. He's on the wing, and his kick was going to spear towards his teammate in Lawler, but it's been chopped off just as he kicked it. Nicely intercepted by Freeman, who knocks it down and out of bounds.
Matty Bartlett, Beverly Hills Junior, played 34 games for Blackburn since the boom. Kicks about a goal a game, 5 games for Richmond last year in the VFL.
Short boundary throw-in allows Blackburn to shark the tap. Now the quick bundled forward goes towards, again, Lawler, but at ground level, punched on by Bartlett. He runs under his own little work. Hand pass was chopped off again, and Freeman's there to mop up, and his kick around the corner is beautiful. Finds his teammate in Pendlebury in the back pocket. He's got a switch on. It's on the bounce to his teammate, puts Zagari under a heap of pressure, but he's cool and calm, and he's spotted up a teammate, Wilson, at half-back. So Pendlebury kick, nearly mucked up, but it's in the hands of Wilson on the opposite side. It's right in front of us. Haley jumps, takes a grab, but lets it go as he's falling. So at ground level, again a hand pass by Blackburn, goes straight to the opposition, and Zagari kicks it forward. Bouncing ball where it's all red and black. So Blackburn get it, shorts on, going to find his teammate on the lead is Dove, who's playing back second ruck, and he'll have the kick at half-back.
So Dove right underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The Burners lead by one straight kick. The kick goes up, hugs along the line, and it was two Tigers went up for it then, and it probably should have been left for Schreiber to take, but over the boundary line it goes, right in front of Leroy Green from LKLM Media, the best in the business, taking care of all the shots you see on screen today.
So it's Mickey Dunn's gone to Jeff Goebbels now, and it looks like Jordan Hart's got the job on Jordan Lyle, which is probably the best matchup looking at both those guys' frames, and I'm not quite sure who's got Charlie Haley at the moment, but that's the other big matchup in the ball in 450.
Umpire Damien Sully ended up throwing the ball in, balling it up when it was originally a throw-in, so not too sure what happened there. The handball across for the Tigers, kick up towards the half-forward line. Out in front that time there, I think it was Goebbels. He just flicked it over the back. There's Jaffa Williams, got the handball back. Now they'll link up in the middle of the ground, backwards to go forwards. This is okay. Cross on the right boot, just pokes it forward. In who's going to be in the front spot out there? Patterson was there. Charlie Haley just spun on a throb. He spins around, and he has missed a lot.
Needs a compass.
He's
behind him.
He's trying to work out what was happening there.
He's missed by a long way, but it looks like it's a ball and free kick.
The idea was to try and kick the ball into
Quick
the
handball
square.
off, though. And which way is this one going to go? Snap around the body. I think that might have been Haley who might have got the handball received there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, fantastic goal there by Charlie Haley, who bolted over after he did the shank of a kick, and then he made up for it when he spun around and banged it through on the left.
And that's what Charlie Haley can do.
He's had 3 goes at the snap rush. He's had 2 shockers and 1 bang on the money.
He produces just little glimpses of magic now and then, and that's what sets a crowd alight.
He dominated the fixture between these two sides last year as well.
He did. 6 goals.
He averages 3 goals a game for Balwyn, so this is his 35th game. That's his 105th goal. So, he's been, He's 1 from 3, but fortunately for him and Rodney Ede, it's through the big sticks.
Back in the middle, rucks go at it, tap one by Balwyn, but this time they can't clear out as it's in the hands of Cross. He hands it back to the umpire. So again goes Chevy Anderson up, and again another clearance, but it's not very far, and Blackburn have got the numbers off half-back to kick it long. It's going to be falling into the hands of Schreiber, and Schreiber's got it half-back. He's been floating across half-back nicely, only got wrapped up for that tackle, and but he's been doing okay, but his kick's been chopped off at centre half-back as they're trying to use the corridor. Zalek was there. He's got a short on, goes to Murphy. This time it's Xavier Murphy going wide or even, so now it's on where the supporters are, the outer wing. Short ball was, he gave it away, did he? That was out of bounds.
No, it was downfield.
Oh, okay, so the stopper play was, he heard the whistle, and Blackburn will get the free kick on the wing.
Brash mentioned the Blackburn's tendency to switch, and you saw it there. Zalek takes the mark at centre half back, so you could oblige him going long down the line, trying to get it straight inside forward 50, Brash, but they immediately, all their defenders from the back half there, Paddy Layla was one who got it in the end, but they just pushed right up. They're running in waves. It's really interesting to see, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Murphy on the receive, goes long inside 50. The Flyers will come late, but it hits ground level where it's a fight for the ball. Schreiber's first onto it, and he's tackled, and it's a ball up 30 out from Blackburn's goal.
This is exactly what it was like last Saturday at the corresponding Premier game. Both sides taking the game on and spreading wide and far to win the football.
Ground level, again a clearing kick, but Balwyn's been rushed in their defence. Now it's a disputed ball at centre half forward. Comes back to Harry. Harry just loads up off one step. It's all Balwyn and Pendlebury in great position. He only one to beat, and Downey.
He threw him away with one hand. He's left.
So Downey went chasing Pendlebury for a bit of contact, then he got slapped away. Pendlebury gets a 25-metre penalty as well.
Linking up there with Rid, and now he'll go backwards. That's okay. Out towards the wing position. Nicely done there, and a good mark by Schreiber. He's had a bit of the football early, gets the handball on. Here's Zagari, who hugs the line. Does it stay alive? It does not. Bruce said it was out of bounds on the full. The umpire said no.
That's exactly what we expect from Balwyn there, Brash and Gav. Is just that they got a chance to run. They gave it to Rid. He ran into a bit of a dead end, but they've got licence to just take off. That was pretty impressive. He gained 15 metres without really knowing where he was going.
Yeah.
So it was a shallow throw in once again. Anderson on the left boot just slapped it forward. Who's going to have numbers? Well, it's going to be Blackburn. Hitting the deck straight away, though, was Bujaya. And he will be not penalised and will have a ball up. So umpire Damien Sully, the best in the league, throws the ball aloft. Big knock on that time there by Anderson, out in the pathway there of Urban. And in the back, it might be paid against Bartlett here. No. Yes, it will be. What's so funny about that, Gav?
Oh, just the voice movement.
Well, one umpire had his arm one way and the other one had it that way, so I can understand why the player was confused there.
Rodney Ede was a big rap on this fella. He loved his tackling pressure.
Well, he's going to kick from straight in front. Will Sexton, 50 metres out, sets sail, gives it a fair old roost, but pushed it left. Minor score is the result as we cross the 15-minute mark of this first term on Good Friday. Premier Division at its best. It's the Balwyn Tigers leading by 1 point. It is 8-7.
Nice connection on that kick, wasn't it, from Sexton? He hit it pretty sweetly.
So the kick in now. Not sure who was taking that one there, Gav, as came in Schreiber, got the knock on, little handball over the top there by Hanley, went back towards the Schreiber direction. His handball went back towards Zagari, who just got quickly met by an opponent and brought to ground, so we'll have a ball up.
Schreiber's been really impressive on a wing. He's getting his hands on the footy brush and taking a couple of intercept marks, which is interesting too.
Very much so.
Throws it up. Harry got the knock away from Anderson that time. The paint beats the players, and we'll have a ball in. Over to you, Gav.
So Sexton hands it to Jack and Will. They look like they're imposing themselves on the game. And it's a ball in, 55 away from Balwyn's goal. Anderson gets in front, knocks it down to ground level, close to the boundary line again. And Jack Sexton with a ball and all tackle keeps it close to goals, and we'll have a ball up close to the boundary line. Out of sight of Morton Park, just to recap what a hot start it has been. 15, nearly 16 minutes now. Blackburn, the host, 1-1-7, trailing Balwyn 1-2-8. And Blackburn get the clearing kick on the bouncing ball, trying to push his way to it was Hanley. He got Schreiber out of the way, but Schreiber had Casey helping him out, and Casey finds the boundary line and walks over.
He's got a strong lower trunk there, Matt Casey. He'd be an incredibly hard man to tackle.
Well, he doesn't plan on being tackled, but it's now falling at a ground level. Well, Wilson picks it up, but he's been taken down in a tackle at centre forward. So it's a real hot contest. You've got to take a clean grab or you won't get the possession away.
Lachlan Harry has dominated the ruck, though. Brendan Allen was big hype on him, wasn't he, Brash, about his big pre-season, North Melbourne supplementary VFL list, but you know, he's a different player to the man who was shadowed by Liam Well-Buxton 12 months ago.
It's interesting, Harry versus the jumping Anderson. So if Harry plants himself, it's interesting what Anderson does, but it now goes into a tackled position where quickly picking up himself was Will Sexton with the free kick, but he rushed the kick and practically got smothered. Blackburn have got numbers deep in defence. It's again Sexton, the brother, getting off to Cross. Cross has got a short pass on, bouncing ball, doesn't suit Lyle, and then picking it up is Pollux in the pocket. He just quickly puts it on the boot. Off hands. Here's a big chance. In front of goal again, Haley. As soon as he puts it on the boot from the top of the goal square, the arms go up. Another goal to Balwyn.
Doesn't mind a celebration, does he?
I was about to say, he's the ultimate showman, Charlie Haley. He would live for that moment. There's a bit of Toby Green about him. I think they are mates, Brash, and there's a little bit of Toby Green about him. A little chirpy small forward that loves flying for marks and loves kicking big goals.
Oh, yeah, there is a lot there. Bit of mongrel as well. I like Charlie. You know, he's not afraid.
Haley 2 goals. Balwyn 2-2-14, leading Blackburn 1-1-7 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And Josh Pollux was the one who set that up. And he and Rid, they've been impressive so far. That they're two of those younger guys. I don't think they're Balwyn juniors, but they're bringing them through the 19s and stuff, which is a good sign. Not something we'd associate with Balwyn usually, BWS.
Big fly that time there by Harry, but at the fall of the ball it was Oakes who spun around and kicked it out wide. Here's Schreiber. It's going to sit up nicely for him, will it? No. But he still goes after it. He patted it in the front of there. Japper Williams, who on the left boot squeezed a kick inside 50. That was a beauty. And Urban was out in front and did a good stretch and took the mark. So he'll go back and have a shot. It's a difficult angle. He's hugged up against the boundary line, but the distance won't be a problem.
Every time ball would go into their forward 50, they look dangerous now.
So Urban, they've owned the last 10 minutes, the ball inside.
Interesting kick, this one, because I think he's going to have to go for the inside that left goal post. The wind's going to drag it across, I reckon.
So he opens himself up a little bit, winds around, and then kicks goalward, and he's drifted and did exactly what Brush said. So through for one behind. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 19 minutes gone, almost time on here in the first term on Good Friday football, and it's an 8-point lead to the Balwyn Tigers.
That's what Brendan Allen spoke about as well with his pre-game, Brash. If they can't at least put some pressure on in the midfield, the entries are going to be too good for that Balwyn forward 50 to refuse. And we saw then Oakes was so classy there, and that was the first time they really cut Blackburn apart.
Well, the kicking got chopped off straight away. Handball over the top there by Casey. It's no relation, though. McCafferty inside forward 50 thereabouts. And Pollux came out, took it on the second bite. It wasn't paid in the end. Somehow got boot to ball, snapped it towards the top of the goal square. Oh, it might be somewhere for Jaffa Williams just to get the handball receive. He was there, and he snaps a goal. He just waited and waited. He needed the support, and he got it, and he got the handball receive, and bang, through it goes. So they've been peppering, haven't they? 10 minutes or so now, the Balwyn side, and they probably should be a little bit more in front. 3-3-21 to 1-1-7, Brash.
Perfect thing that you want from your forward. You mess up, but you're still front and square and ready to pick up the crumb when you get it. You make something happen, and Jaffa Williams once again did it.
He's the fulcrum, Gav. Yeah, like I said, doesn't have to mark him all the time, but he's so hard to beat in the air. And like you said, the small forwards of Jaffa Williams, Haley, and even Pollux has been good as well.
That was a terrific piece of play there by Sexton, who took who took a magnificent grab and set up that play.
It's either a 6-6-6 or an encroachment. We'll wait on the non-officiating umpire to tell the...
Now, I did get told during the week here that there's no warning in the AFNL with 6-6-6. It is just a straight free, but I don't know if it always is a 50-metre penalty.
Harry takes it at centre forward. Long. It's chopped off. Good courage.
Oh, come on.
But no mark taken. For courage alone, it should have been a mark. It's fallen its way out. Baffy can't get his kick through the congestion, and it's smothered just before it goes out of bounds. So who was that dropping back into?
I think it was Freeman.
Freeman, who he had it all until just coming to ground.
Should have been a free kick if it wasn't a mark.
I would have paid the mark. I think he controlled it.
Agreed.
He was under a high ball. Did well just as Balwyn were under a bit of pressure at ground level. Hanley can't get a hand on it, and he spills it, and it's holding the ball across. Great tackle in amongst it, as usual, around the stoppages.
Such a good player for a long time, hasn't he?
So he's got to pass out wide. Schruber's got to come and use his body. He does. He hits the ground level where it's Balwyn off to the races. Urban's hand pass comes off the side of his fist, so it's going to be turned over. It's now in the hands of Rough Edge. Rough's Edge, his kick smothered. So it's good pressure around the ball.
Good tackle.
And it's now not going too far. It's a tackle and ball up as Jaffa Williams picks himself up and gives the ball back to the umpire.
That's what Blackburn have to bring, because I think Balwyn have got the better speed, they've got the better foot skills. That Blackburn have to match them in pressure, and that's their only chance of winning today.
McCaffrey wins it out of the back of the stoppage, and it goes forward, bouncing ball. Blackburn holding up quite nicely, but Urban runs onto it. He pushes it forward, pushes into the hands of his teammate, and a snap around the goal by Pollux. He's been good. He gets a goal, and it's number 4 for Balwyn. Balwyn a 4-3-27, stretching out a 20-point lead over Blackburn. 1-1-7, 22 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
If you include centre clearances, 7 clearances to 5, but 6 around the ground to Balwyn to just 2 for Blackburn. Another one there, got it forward, and Pollux, Haley, Jaffa Williams, Sexton, the small forwards are running amok down there, Gav, BWS and Brash.
Yeah, and the fact is that really probably this ground doesn't suit Lyle, but he's still making a contribution. He's bringing the ball to ground.
And those 4 are reaping the benefits.
That's exactly right.
So we've ticked over 22 and a half minutes here. There's a big ruck. Sparrow got the knockdown that time. It went nowhere. It hit straight to the deck, and Harding was there. And we'll do it all again.
Harry looks like he's doing it by his loan. He looks fit, so this could be a chance to capitalise when the second ruck's out there.
Well, this time we'll give that one to Harry. But it was stolen there by Sparrow, got the handball out, and they're going to go forward again here by linking up sideways. They just know where to run. They know where their teammates are. And another handball out there by Schreiber. He's been Balwyn's best in this first term. Comes out now on the left boot by Oakes. Squeezes the ball back in. At the fall of the ball, Jaffa Williams has had a lot of the football too. He kicks it inside forward 50. The pressure is on. Goebbels was in there linking up Blackburn with the series of handballs across the half-back line. Up to centre-half-back, they've worked it now, but the kick by Balwyn goes forward, and Goebbels was by himself as well. And he wasn't
not happy
looking, and out of bounds on the full it goes. So
yeah, look, what are they, Brash? 4-3, and that's twice they've had pretty good looks and missed everything.
I reckon they should be around 6-4, I reckon.
Well, Helen, we're into time on set. Blackburn, I think now, damage control. Don't let it get any worse. Reset and come up with another plan.
They've got to continue to attack.
Yeah, it's the only way.
There's a beautiful kick from that stoppage there as it goes out towards the dugouts, and the quick kick down the line of the wing. But it just seems like Balwyn have all the numbers. Pendlebury wasted no time and banged it every bit of 60 metres. And a big mark has been taken down forward. Lyle. And he squeezes a kick in, and a short pass is on, and Oakes takes it. So he's going to back himself here. So we know that the 50-metre arcs aren't really 50 out here at Blackburn.
Incredible reach there. He sort of got, it was almost behind him when he took it, wasn't it, Brash? And you can tell why he's such an important player, just for their structure. Even if he doesn't kick 6 or 7 goals every week, he straightens them up and he gives them that get out, kick down the line.
Well, fittingly wearing the Jesus headband today as he goes goalward, and it's a gun barrel straight. And they've got their 5th, the Balwyn side, and they're sort of running away with it now, it would seem, even though it's early days. But on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's 5-3-33, and Blackburn, who haven't scored for quite some time, 1-1-7.
It's almost like they flicked a switch here, Balwyn, and just thought, right, Blackburn, we're ready to go into full gear here, because they have just, from about the 15-minute mark of this first quarter, Matt, they've just gone into overdrive.
I think the only area Blackburn can match it with Balwyn is in the middle and in the ruck. And at the moment, Balwyn are winning that area, so they can't match them anywhere else. They have to start winning it in the middle to give themselves any hope.
Harry wins it, but it's Cross who takes the centre clearance. His kick comes off the right of his boot and been chopped off at half back. So Blackburn get to steady. Got some inside kicks.
Switch is on, and they were doing that early on.
But they've stopped that.
But now it's gone even wider. Will find a teammate, so Blackburn will get a late inside 50. Late to the contest will be Conker. He's not normally meant to be the flyer, but he comes from the back. Ball hits the ground. Balwyn again, good numbers, knocking it out. In front of himself was Wilson. And it's now a hotly contested ball. Quick kick out of the defence by Balwyn. Might fall the way of Blackburn with the numbers on the wing, but they're shattered because it bounces out and goes out.
3-on-1 there.
Well, to be honest, Reece Conker should have enough brains to know that he shouldn't be flying up against the big, tall forward that they've got in there. He should be front and square, waiting for the crumbs.
Lachlan Harry was front and square. The big fella, he did well as well.
Yeah.
Again, it's a ground level ball, sharing it Blackburn. Nice kick around the corner. It goes again, but in front. Nice mark by Zalek, who just had front position as a kick. He read it nicely off the boot.
Jamie Ridd, I think that is, the young fella for Balwyn.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
That's all right.
Just getting confused there.
He's
Early
been impressive,
days.
though, and you're right again. Every time Blackburn have gone forward, though, Gav, it looks like a Balwyn player is going to win the contest. Out on the other end of it, nothing.
Hanley gets it inside. Sexton gets it inside 50, and Charlie Haley was the man at the end of the kick. And front position, and it's not going to beat him, because once he's got front position, he's not dropping it. And it's just before the kick. We might have some time to get Jared with comment.
Yeah, that was really poor. A really poor turnover by Blackburn. They've been struggling to get out of defence all day, and Balwyn's been cutting them off pretty easily.
So Haley was on the end of the kick, going for number 3. It's the easiest of his shots. 40 metres out, 40-degree angle, puts it on the right post.
He's missed it.
He's missed it. It's just drifted with that wind.
Josh Pollux was trying to work the goal umpire. Anthony Rocker 2002 style. Didn't quite get there.
But the umpire was always over the
he was confident, wasn't he, Gav?
He knew what was going on. And it's a minor score to Haley. He's kicked 2-2 out of Balwyn's 5-4.
So a big thumping kick out towards the half-back line, and they just, once again, they hit the deck. Wilson trying to scoop it out. Pye says play on. It was good umpiring there just to try and let the play continue.
Siren would have gone about this time at Zerbies last week, wouldn't it,
would have gone 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Daylight robbery.
Hey, mate, I'm agreeing with you.
I didn't say you weren't. It's a kick by Oglethorpe on the left down towards the wing. There's about 12 players just chasing the football here. It looks a little bit rugby-like as Blackburn's still trying to work it inside their forward 50, but to no avail yet because it's over and out of bounds right in front
I
of the
reckon
bench.
ball not going that well, Matt. They probably turn around and say, "Oh, look, I think we'll concede the ruck as long as we can get if we win the ball from his work,
I think
we'll
Blackburn
take
have got an extra number at the stoppage, and Balwyn are happy to have the extra person behind the ball.
Yep.
And at the moment, because they're backing their on-ballers to, even with a man down, to still break even or win it. Like I said, they're dominating the clearances.
Well, speaking of the siren, there it is, and we're one down out here on EFNL game day. It's Good Friday football, and it's the away side, the Balwyn Tigers, who started probably the slower of the two, but then absolutely dominated the last 20 minutes of that term, and they go in at 5-4-34 to Blackburn 1-1-7. The major goal kickers on the ground are Haley. He has 2, 1 each to Jaffa Williams. Oakes and Pollux, whilst the only single goal kicker for Blackburn and the first goal kicker of the day was Jack Brooks. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast this afternoon across all our media streams, including 98.1 Radio Eastern, and we will be back with all of our thoughts on the first term and what's coming up in the second right after this.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, the preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo, and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair. Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park. Good Friday football in the Eastern Football Netball League between Blackburn and Balwyn. And that was the Tigers all over them. I think they might, we'll say they were kicking with a slight breeze. Let's just make it that. They're 5-4-34 to Blackburn, 1-1-7. Charlie Haley has 2 goals to Yaron, Jaffa Williams, Nathan Oakes, Joshua Pollux, and Jack Brooks has the single for Blackburn. Matt Foddy here with Wayne Brasher and Gavin Casey. Gentlemen, Balwyn, pretty good when they got the ball on the outside, Gav, and they were getting it on the inside to get it outside. So all good for Balwyn. Where did Blackburn level this game up? Because they've got to do something.
It's interesting, Gav.
Yeah,
where are they going to go with it?
I think it's all about the stoppages. Blackburn have got no execution.
They started well and looked good for the first 5 minutes, and then as soon as Balwyn, like you said, they started getting their hands on the footy first of the stoppages. Blackburn have got no other way getting their hands back on the footy.
Well, I think Balwyn are just very good at just corralling, if not tackling, that Blackburn's not getting it out of the immediate metre of a stoppage or a contest, and then Balwyn are well drilled. It comes out to a bloke moving.
Yeah, but also the other problem is too, Blackburn have got no structure in their forward. Their structure's fallen down in their forward 50 because there's not enough players. Their players have had to push up so far up at the contest, Gav,
Yeah.
right, to try and match, to stop Balwyn from running through the midfield into their forward 50, and there's nothing left in there, and that leaves their structure in the forward line badly weakened, and you're seeing a lot of paddock. And so when they're getting the ball on whatever turnover or stoppage they're winning, they're being either forced wide because they can't play into the centre corridor because they don't have any structure there, mate.
I think though, I'm fine with them doing that. Like, they got their first goal starting that play with no one in their forward half.
Yeah.
But to do that, when they get it, you have to be pretty clean, because if you turn it over, all your momentum's going the other way.
Yeah.
And you've got to spread quick when you get it. You can't slowly take the ball from the other end when you've got no one in the forward half, as we go down to Jared Beanland boundary side.
I've got Brendan Allen, coach of Blackburn, here. So your main address to the players was contest work, right? The key word seemed to be hold.
Yeah, we just got dragged up as a forward line into our stoppage, and then of course the ball comes out quickly, and they got 4 sit behind the ball. So that's not how we've trained. It's not how we've been coached. So it's a little bit of something we've got to tidy up pretty quick.
You're kicking with the breeze this term. Does that change much for you?
Hopefully it gives us a little bit of an advantage, but you still got to get your hands on the footy, and we didn't do that quarter. So maybe we start doing that, we might score.
Thanks, Brendan. Good luck.
Jared Beanland down there on the boundary with Brendan Allen. Some interesting points. Just quick before we get into that and the second quarter, around the grounds at Mount Waverley Reserve, it's the Waverley Blues 6-2-38, Ferntree Gully 2 straight 12.
Settle down, Gav.
Snort.
George Costanza like it.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think Blackburn need to kick the opening couple of goals in this quarter.
Well, if Balwyn get the first one, it could really deflate the
blow
contest.
open. But Blackburn they've got to hold sway here, and they've probably got to go back to what Brendan Allen has wanted them to do during their pre-season. But Balwyn are very good at picking apart the opposition coach's game plans very, very quickly.
Well, the start of the second term is about to take way, and here is Gav Casey.
Harry goes out, gets the higher hand, knocks it down to ground level. He's there to put his hands on it again, but he leaves his teammate into it, and it didn't go anywhere, and the tackle was laid by Urban. Good work by the Balwyn midfielder.
That's what you just mentioned, isn't it, Gav? Even if Blackburn do get hands on it around the coal face, they're just immediately tackled.
Well, that kick only goes a metre, and it goes to Balwyn's end, and it's now Rid turning around on a Fruppins, goes now the outer side. It's running to McCaffrey. McCaffrey's got an overlay to Urban. Urban at half forward. He's got time to spear it into the goal kicker extraordinaire. Goebels on the lead. Wow, that's just precision football.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was, as you said there, Gav, like the way they moved that's almost a training drill. Get out of the stoppage. Bolt gets it to centre half back. He can go anywhere. It goes out wide. And then the overlap run, the way Urban ran on the diagonal to create the overlap handball. If Jeff Goebels kicked this, it'll be his 450th ball and goal.
There you go.
And he does that thing where he just points it to the goals. Like, that's where you're going as soon as it hits my boot. So 4 big steps in. He puts it to the right post. It doesn't come with any sort of win, and it misses the right side. So that's not his 450th, but it's a minor score to Balwyn. 5-5-35, leading by 28 early in the second term. Blackburn at 1-1-7.
Has he always done that little Josh Kennedy thing?
Yeah,
he does.
He does. Okay.
Haven't you watched that magnificent?
I've heard it. I've heard it.
You'd be one of the several 100,000
listen to him.
As it comes out there towards the wing position. The little banana kick this time, inside boot, goes in towards the middle of the ground. Sitting underneath it there was Hart, but it got knocked away from him. Working the ball forward again. Oh, they're linking up too easily here. Here's Japper Williams on the left boot, and he hits the pine. So that almost...
They're keeping Blackburn in it, Brash.
Another behind there to the Tigers. So Bendigo back scoreboard. They are 5-6-36 and they lead 1-1-7 who are Blackburn. So a 29-point lead as Blackburn take off from the back pocket. Short passes on. The mark's been taken by Reed right in front of the club rooms, which I just don't know why aren't painted red and black. It makes no sense to me.
It's not the greatest aesthetic outside of footy season.
They're magnificent rooms, but give it a coat of paint. It's a big fly, but over the back there, Casey takes the mark and he's given a free kick away.
Maybe it's because it's designed by that famous American Frank Gehry, mate, the famous architect. It looks like one of his works.
You were speaking of George Costanza before. You'd want to be an architect, did you, Bash? As it comes out now, so Hart barges through and dispossessed of the football.
The great thing, he could have mentioned any name, and we just can't say anything. Can't say you're wrong.
So true. Rid Gets it out wide. Here's McCaffrey on the left boot. He's such a lovely kick of the football, and you give a guy a wrap and he throws it straight down the throat.
It was still
of
a
the
lovely
opposition.
kick. Just went to the wrong team.
Square things up here. Burners backwards to go forwards.
Got to keep coming quick.
And short passes on. Here's Michael Dunn, whose brother Nick's listening on the broadcast, as I was told by his mum Helen at quarter time. So we'll give him a shout out. There's a kick's being chopped off there by Reed again. He's had a bit of football early in this second term. Short passes on if he wants it. He'll take it. Zagari. Slip, slop and slap today. Smart on the left boot. Drives the ball inside forward 50. Big fly over the back, and the second bite was that stolen by Haley. Just knows where to be, doesn't he, Charlie? And he missed it again.
He's got 2 goals, 3.
2 goals, 3 on the board now to Charlie Haley. And another behind, 7 apiece.
Scared the goal umpire, yelled at him.
Well, exactly. Charlie was ready he was running directly across in front of the rooms there, that celebration. But every time ball can go inside 50, it's dangerous, Brash. You think they're going to score?
Yeah.
5-goal margin as the mark, Gav, has been taken by Hanley.
Hanley, nice diagonal kick to the wing. Quickly running forward is Lawler, gets it to full forward. Baffy gets underneath it. And a drop mark just when they were going to have a shot at goal, I reckon. And now it's a ball under all arms and legs and a ball up 30 out from Blackburn's goal.
The difference between, so again, Balwyn have only had 2 marks inside full 50. So the difference going down there is not the drop, but it's immediately who's at the feet as soon as the drop was there. And Brooks has to do everything himself, whereas Balwyn have got Jaffa Williams, Haley, Sexton around the feet to Crum. So that's the difference at the moment.
Quick clearing kick goes to Jaffa Williams. He picks it up on the bounce. He gets the hand pass over to Schruber, who uncharacteristically spills it and puts himself under pressure at half back. Now Blackburn a big chance. Going forward, they do into the pocket, but the kick again doesn't hit a target and rolls out of bounds.
Every time they've created a turnover for themselves, Blackburn, they've not been able to take advantage of it at all.
So it's a difference in the skills is pretty obvious. And now but it's still a chance here for the Burners to get the first goal of the second term. Shallow ball in. Who's going to shoot? Anderson has to go off the ground, the ruckman, with his foot. And now tackled. Well, he's not holding the ball, says Ben, because the pickup from the Balwyn player, even though it was hot, he just spilled it like a sack of potatoes. But it's now a ball up, half forward for Blackburn.
That was one of those decisions last week I thought that the umpires had trouble for both sides adjudicating on.
Ground level ball. The midfielders go at it, bouncing ball, does fall the way of the Tigers again. Nicely done by Urban, pushed off his defender, but he backpedaled his way out of bounds, and he's probably happy with that result at half-back, just to get a 50-50 contest. 5.5 minutes gone, second term, the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The host, Blackburn, on Good Friday, 1-1-7, trailing Balwyn, 5-7-37, 2 goals to Haley, and he's missed a few as well. And another ball up, says the umpire, as it comes from the contest. No ruckman's really getting the hands to advantage, and so that's why we're getting a lot of secondary ball ups and contests that are dribble kicks.
It's a very tightly packed. They're all very close. Sorry, Paul can get a clearance here, but they're all very close, so there's no real width to create a sort of clearance. You know what I mean, Gav?
Yeah, definitely. Now here's a chance for Blackburn to go to the middle of the ground. And Murphy runs onto it, gives it over to his teammate. Flying shot. Will the wind bring it back? Left from 50 out. Long kick was just sort of smoothly moving, but the kick missed to the slightly to the left.
Hanley
it was.
I thought it was Bartlett, but happy to be wrong.
Bartlett it was.
But he got very close to the Balwyn defender, had to kick it up rather than, I think he wanted to kick through the ball and keep it lower, and that's where the wind obviously took it. But that was better from Blackburn, a nice bit of pressure, and they got the intercept in the corridor rather than near the boundary line.
It's what they needed to go through to build that confidence as well, because you're right, it was a lot better plays. A big mark's been taken there by Anderson, whose handball was a shocker, but they've got the time to still work the ball up towards the half-forward line. Here's the ball inside. Goebels went up for it at the fall of the ball. Handball out wide there by Powell. Linked up okay. Kick up towards the wing position. Had players free everywhere too, Blackburn. Just couldn't spot up that target. And over the boundary line she goes, right in front of the Tiger dugout.
Who's Blackburn's preferred ball user? Because at the moment you can tell Balwyn want to get the ball in the hands of Tom McCaffrey to use the footy. Who is Blackburn's Tom McCaffrey at the moment, Brash?
I think they'd like to get it in the hands of Xavier Murphy in the midfield.
Jared Beanland, boundary side.
I would suggest Liam Patterson. He started a pretty good play for Blackburn before with his kick-off half-back. I think he's a pretty good ball user.
Thanks very much. What's it feeling like down there, Jared, at the moment amongst the fans?
Amongst the fans, a little bit more tense than I had expected, but it's as Blackburn are starting to get their way back into the contest, there's a bit more shouting, there's a bit more happiness.
The ball goes up towards the Bathy direction. Couldn't quite take the mark. He's been quiet. A big, strong tackle there by Downey, who brought his opponent down all right, and not rewarded, and will have a ball up.
At least Brendan Allen will be happy with the way Blackburn have responded.
Yeah, they're splitting even in the middle now, aren't they? Like the clearances, and there hasn't been too many this quarter, but Balwyn aren't just walking it out.
Yeah.
And when Balwyn have got forward, it looks like they've got numbers back to help out. It's now just putting it on the scoreboard, and they haven't really had, besides that part of the shot, they haven't had any sort of real movement.
No.
It's been pretty scrappy.
Boundary.
So hopefully for them, they can get a goal from a stoppage as we go down to Jared again.
Yeah, we've got Lewis Downey coming off of the blood rule, I believe.
That was Sexton.
Oh, Sexton? My bad.
No, Downey.
Was that?
Yeah, the Blackburn player. Right, he's going to cross Jared now.
Yeah, but Will Sexton did walk off.
Sexton went off first. He was the first player to go off.
They might both have
he was sent off, yeah.
Double blood rule.
Throws it up.
That's the sequel.
Little flick over the back there. Conker being quiet. Goldwood pushes it to the left pocket and staying alive there. Pendlebury, he got his jukes on it, but couldn't quite take it in the sun.
Thing is with Blackburn, every time they get a possession, they are under extreme pressure in their forward 50.
Anywhere on the ground because Balwyn are so quick, they can close you down.
Well, I'd love something from this stoppage here. From the back, little handball. Lawler did a good tackle, but the Tigers just had the numbers once again to get the ball out. Not enough talk there by the Burners. They could have raffled a mark there. Instead, it goes up towards the Haley direction, who got worked underneath it, and he's screaming for a free kick, but it comes out towards the forward pocket where Goebbels was just waiting for it. He sat there, got the handball back. That was good play. This way, that way for Haley on the left boot. Little scrubber kick really in the end, wasn't it? As it comes out, quickly chopped off there by Murphy, this time of the Xavier variety. Bangs it on his boot up towards the wing position.
Got to move it.
Move it faster, Ryan. So Bathy, just a little chip kick in.
But look at the numbers. Balwyn had four back there, didn't they?
Giving them 15 seconds to all man up again as the kick now by Gray. Cuts across the middle of the ground. It was knocked away there by Sexton. That was really good. A good chase down by him. As the ball goes out wide, Conker, he was met by Sexton again. Got a little grubber kick on it over the boundary line. She goes for a boundary throw-in.
He did have to go quicker, but then he looked up and he had 4 Balwyn defenders and Jack Brooks. So his option was either to bomb it long and hope for a miracle, or he needed runners coming past, but they'd spent so much energy turning it over.
They needed the runners.
That's just what, at the moment, though, Balwyn are just so far on top. The Blackburn have to go 110% just to get their hands on the footy, let alone score.
And Dove was in the front spot for the shallow throw-in. And
have another throw-in?
As expected, we'll do it again.
I almost felt sorry for Haley there. I reckon he was being dragged. And
I thought that might have been a free kick.
It was only his fairness not to go to ground that he didn't get paid the free kick, I reckon.
So it looked like Conker was slung off the football there, but the umpire said it was okay. Here's Urban linking up nicely with Smith. They go up towards the wing position here, but out of bounds it goes. Boundary throw-in. Nicely done by Jared Beanland.
First touch in 12 years.
We got it all on camera too. As it comes in, Dove took it out of the ruck, then threw it away. Umpire said play on. Probably should have been holding the ball. Cross was in there. Little handball over the top. Sparrow chasing after it. Conker in there too. And let's do it again.
You don't want to take that comment out of context, do you?
What's that?
His first touch.
Gavin. It's Good Friday.
How good a Friday. As the umpire is going to ball it up. Umpire Damien Sully. Restart this nonsense.
Gavin, who told you?
Just flick over the back. God, go on the right boot. Got to have a laugh, don't you? As it comes up now. Switch could be on here. It's a risky kick. A very, very risky kick, and they should make him pay. Here's Bathy around the body. Get enough curl. He cannot. They just can't buy a goal at the moment. I don't know why my mic keeps cutting out, but it seems to be okay now. And you go bank scoreboard, 139 Blackburn, 6-5-7-37 Balwyn. Can't say it's been the most glamorous of second terms so far as the kick comes out wide, looking for Bottomer. as the kick repels back inside forward 50. Again, was Bathy. He's been around the football a bit, Bathy, in the last 5 minutes or so. Stripped of the football there was Hanley. It comes out now into the middle of the ground. Good pressure there by the Tigers, working it forward through the arms there of Pollux, who got brought to ground. And we will have a ball up. True centre wing position out here, far side.
It seems like they're expending so much effort here. They're going to get a goal, you feel, but it's just going to be like we've worked so hard for one goal. It's taken them 13 minutes of not dominance, but they've been on top.
Goodbye, Harry. Punch forward, but it's been taken by Sexton, who runs around the whole pack of players, and his kick to Urban on the run was glorious. Now running onto the ball, cross, hands over to Pollux. Pollux has to stand still just for a moment, but he dodges a tackle, walks out of the tackle, short pass on the bounce to Lyle. Lyle gets a Jaffa Williams from 30 metres out. He's drifting left, and so did the ball.
That's another miss, but... How good was that ball moving from ball? And they get it. They're so quick. I know Cross, the handball over top, he's under pressure, but it just created that overlap, Gav. And then again, like Pollock's kicks a little bit better. Lyle has a shot at goal, but they're about the finishing touches is missing, but Balwyn looked very impressive.
Well, it seems like Blackburn won territory, but it's not them with the hands on the ball. Quick kick forward, inside 50 ground level. Again, it's Urban. He's been taken to the ground in a tackle, and Blackburn just rescue the situation with a hard tackle on Urban.
So Jaffa Williams has had kicked 1 goal, 2. Charlie Helly's had 2-3 with it out in the full. And then you've got Will Sexton missed a shot as well. So really, they've missed some pretty easy shots, Paul, and they should be further in front.
And it's now at half-back for Blackburn, and they just rush it out of bounds.
Boundary.
They seem like they go... Well, it's just in front of Jared for another touch.
No, not quite. We've got Lewis Downey coming back on after he's been strapped up after that blood rule.
What did he do? Copper knocked to the nose.
I think it was a cut just around the nose somewhere.
So it comes out now. A flick kick that time there by Rough's Edge. Up towards the wing position. They've knocked it forward over the back. Oh, strong tackle. Hitting the deck pretty hard there was Rid. But Blackburn, they're still working the ball forward now. It's gone inside forward, 50 or thereabouts. Charging through there is Bathy. He got stripped of the pill. The umpire said play on. They're not really holding the ball today at all, are they? They haven't seen it at all. Is Will Sexton, who flicks it over the back. It's got to sit nicely for them. And who's going? Oh, Blackburn just looks like the time stopped there for a second as the handball comes out towards the direction of Bartlett, who can't stay alive inside the boundary line. The paint beats the ball and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
You can't knock Blackburn this quarter, Brash.
No.
Besides the fact I think Balwyn's players are just better. Like the way Sexton stepped out of trouble there was magnificent. And then every time Blackburn get their hands on the footy, they just always look panicked or rushed.
Got a feeling they're going to get something out of this one as they're going up after it.
But you do know what's going to happen. They're going to have worked for 16 minutes to get a goal, and Balwyn will walk one out of the centre clearance.
That Sexton could be a bit of a find for Balwyn.
Yeah, he looks very impressive.
Casey got the quick knockdown. The clearing kick went nowhere because Hinkley was underneath it for Blackburn, who swings around now and sends the ball right back to the hot spot. Long, deep kick as it goes towards the left back pocket, forward pocket.
Both the Sextons, Brash. They've been impressive.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jack, there he was giving the ball back to the umpire.
But once again, you got a bloke like Chris Pendlebury, once again doing exactly what good backmen do. When you're out of position, you punch the ball.
Well, they get another opportunity. Strong tackle by Reed. That was good. For good forward pressure, keeping the ball inside the offensive arc for Blackburn. They've been screamed. They've almost gone... 35 minutes without a goal. So they really need something to go through the big sticks, and they just might get it this time as a strong mark's been taken by Lewis Downey, who came back on with his own Jesus-like headband, and he will go back and have a ping from 35 out directly in front.
Yep.
It's a big kick, this, isn't it? Because of all their effort, he shanks this, it's just going to deflate them because they've done well to negate Balwyn to an extent. Balwyn could have easily kicked 2 goals themselves, but they haven't.
He needs to aim that right between the 2 jealous Craig signs there in front of the goal.
Are they sponsoring us today, Crunch?
No, I'm just...
They may as well be.
It's because of the wind.
I could do with some cheaper rent as it comes in now as Downey lets himself down and everyone else because he's kicked it behind.
Well, it is, but it's deflating because they've put in all this effort. They need reward for it, or else eventually you can't keep up this sort of intensity. Well, hopefully they can. I don't think they can keep it up.
But he almost seemed like he felt rushed to take that kick.
Well, you do only get your 30 seconds, so maybe he did get rushed a little bit. But
scoreboard's been corrected too.
They he had to convert that to give them that sort of that lift, because now if Vaughan go down the other and kicked a goal, it could really blow out.
So with Pendlebury kicking it out, it's like Blackburn, they get numbers to the next contest, but they put themselves off, and that's been knocked to ground where Urban was.
It's almost like they got too many there, but they have to have that many there to win it, because one-on-one Balwyn are probably going to beat them around the footy.
Yeah, it shows a lack of confidence at the moment when they're around the contest, and it flings its way out for Balwyn again, and Ailey just trods his way to it, drops it under a heap of pressure, and Blackburn, luckily this time, have got ground level numbers. The kick to the outer wing is now a run fest, and trailing is Lawler, and running a dance is beautifully by Rid. He just did steps and he dodged his own shadow in the end, kicked into the middle beautifully to Schreiber, and now they're going through the middle. Urban's on the end of it. He just bundles a kick forward. Lyle will run onto it. One hand held, one hand going for the mark. Nearly brings it in, but Blackburn now got some numbers, but under heap of pressure. Haley's there. Always danger. Picks it off from the pocket. He'll pull it around, and he's just got too much on it, and it's bent so much that it was curling away from the goals at the end.
It was almost like a reverse banana, wasn't it, Gav?
Well, he kept going. It was a nice hook on it, but nice call there, Gav, because you sense the occasion of Charlie Hay getting around the footy, but you can see the two sides there. Blackburn had an opportunity to spread, kick from Patterson, Grubber gave Rid the chance to use his speed. Balwyn get it. Not a mistake in there. Urban rushed his kick inside 50 under pressure, but the way that Rid was able to do his little goose step, bring it inboard, and then they just moved it. You can just tell the difference between the two sides, Brush.
And you almost got an intro into the Friday preview with that call, Gav, and just not enough on it.
He's already in there, don't stress.
And now it's another chance here again. Is the danger man. Right boot, 40 out under heap of pressure. Bounce. Oh, don't tell me! It's reminiscent of a Shane Warne leg break. And that is magnificent. Just when you think he hasn't kicked a goal, he has. Haley kicks his third. It was at the... Let's get some context. It was at the behind post, bounced. Everyone went, "What the? It's a goal."
Well, it was a magnificent wrong and Gav. That you're right. That has gone at almost right angles. But Brendan Allen will be disappointed, and I'm sure it's a structure thing and whatever. But why was there no one sort of in the goal scorer as the loose player there, coming at the ball rather than running back with it? If you watch here on the replay screen, I think is it 29 down there. Hinkley, he's running back. He should be in the goal square going across and marking it. But Charlie Haley's a freak. What has he got? Three and out in the full today. It could have been a big day for him, and it still could be, Gav.
They've toiled so hard, Blackburn.
That's deflating. I think the floodgates could open here.
Oh, you got your highlight, didn't you, Gav, as it comes in now to Patterson, who was heavily met there by Jaffa Williams, who felt like he ran into a brick wall. And we'll have a ball up just forward of centre for the Balwyn side, who... doing it comfortably. 34-point lead they have as we're into time on in the second term. Knockdown comes, little handball out. They scoot it out, trying to get there with Smith. The only player wearing long sleeves today.
Must be cold.
Yeah, I'm sure he's getting a few ribbings. As should have been a high tackle, and the umpire thought was going to pay it there for a second, but he was blindsided. So no luck there to Jack Sexton. Slowly picks himself up from the deck. And we'll ball it up again as Big Harry went up that time against Anderson. As the ball comes down, who wants it? Who's waiting for it? Well, they all sort of waited for it in the end and just let McCaffrey pick it up.
Yeah, they stopped, didn't they? Blackburn players didn't want the ball.
So Harry and Anderson. Anderson got the flick down right on the 45-metre arc. And we will have a ball up.
Immediately, the umpires are making sure that every player earns their free kicks this afternoon, even when they look like they're there and they're not being given.
Oh, there we go. Car Sales is getting a good rap.
They are a sponsor.
The kick goes up towards the wing. And now Blackburn, a chance to go forward for them. Through the arms, I think that was Bartlett, and over the boundary line it goes.
That one there, Brash. Ryan Bathy, who at times last year tore games apart, was he as the forward was obsessed with his defender there in Freeman. He kept looking back to see where Freeman was. You're the forward. Go at it.
I was waiting for one of Brash's customary yeps as it comes in now. I knew you'd like that go as a little Zalach chasing after the football. Picked up there by Oglethorpe. They're just working it forward. Hitting the deck was Hanley. Got the handball out. Nice strong tackle there by Smith for the Tigers. And he is going nowhere. Got the umpire to ball that one up.
Well, they've worked hard for 22 minutes, Blackburn, for really no result.
Throws it up. Harry slapped it straight down the throat of the opposition, and a high tackle's been paid against Will Sexton.
No, Will Sexton will get the free kick.
On the right boot. Short passes on, kicks to Jack, who
don't do it.
Has been out of bounds, is the call. What, a second bite over?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
It's either on the full or a mark.
There wasn't no second bite. So knock on now. Well, that's not too bad as the kick goes right up towards the broadcast position, going back with the flight and taking a beautiful mark there for the Burners was Jimmy Powell.
So Blackburn are starting to break even in the stats. They break even with the clearances. They've both sides have had one mark inside 50 this quarter, and Blackburn have had an extra intercept mark. They're just the scoreboard and probably the polish is the only thing that's differentiating the two sides at the moment.
Well, it's in the middle of the ground now, and they've got the turnover here. The Tigers as Urban gets a handball away. Here's McCaffrey. McCaffrey goes goal. Which way will this one bounce? It stays alive and then rush through for a behind. There was no wronging or. Oh no! What's the reverse to a wrongin?
No, a wrongin is the reverse.
He needed
a leg break.
I think he needed a zooter.
A Chinaman.
That zooted. He needed to go the other way. Don't start me. No, I'll keep going.
Spearing kick. That was
this
beauty.
Is better.
Lawler straight down the guts. It's the fastest way home as it goes down. Pendlebury got one hand on it. He's the only man back there for the Tigers. He keeps the ball alive and eventually it goes over and out. But that was better play.
Well, and Jared mentioned that Patterson needs to get his hands on the footy more, and obviously took the kick out there. That's an easy way to get your hands on the footy, but you can tell when he does get it right, he's a beautiful kick. Got it to Lawler, who's another beautiful kick, and they were able to at least get an even contest down there. Whereas that's the thing. Whereas Balwyn have got beautiful ball users all over the park, Brash. So that's a key area for Blackburn. Got to get the ball in the hands of those ball users.
Anderson in front of Brooks. He takes it out of the ruck contest, hands it to the boundary line where Cross escorts it over. So it's about 20 metres around from the behind post as Blackburn attack to the central road end.
Samuel Hart's another one of those ones that they need to get the hands in the ball. He was a really impressive player on the wing last year for Blackburn. He's hardly touched it today.
This time Brooks gets ahead. He's knocked down. Has been well sharked. Quick kick. I think it was by Murphy. Misses to left as he was running towards
number
the opposite
18.
So that was Bajaya.
Lucky Bajaya.
Bajaya misses as he's running to the opposite pocket. He just couldn't get the direction to come.
It was a nice snare though, wasn't it? Nice work through the contest.
Brooks got a front spot and it got a nice little tap towards him, and it was a unfortunate miss as Pendlebury, the general, kicks it out of Balwyn's last line, long down the line where the ground level players are all Balwyn as they go through the middle of Moreton Park. But there's only one player inside their forward 50. Bounce of the ball will suit Blackburn, but here comes the cavalry, and it's McCaffrey picking it up on the bounce. He's quick kick on the left, misses to left and out on the fall.
It might have only been Jeff Goebel's 1-on-4, but if there was a player I'd back in, I'd give him half a chance.
Even the bounce of the ball doesn't suit Blackburn today. They are spooked by everything today.
Short passes on.
A lot of yelling, not a lot of movement.
And switch it up here, which is probably the way to go about it. As mark's been taken by Hinkley, who squares it up into the middle. It's a risky kick. You've got to be centimetre perfect if you want that to work, but it doesn't matter because Nick Gray was there to mop up the pieces, kicks it towards the Bathy direction, who was in the back spot there, but it might just stay alive enough for Bajaya, who did well. He got it away to a teammate there in Hart, who swings around on the right boot, kicks it to the top of the goal square. There's nobody home except Pendles. And on the right boot, kicks it out towards the back pocket, and they get away with it again.
So what Casey does is he's the second lockdown defender and allows Freeman to sort of be the Jeremy McGovern sort of float around. He did it beautifully there. That kick was pretty good coming in from Nick Gray there, but Freeman just came across the front of the contest, cleared it, and then, again, Blackburn had a chance, but once it hits the ground, it's all Balwyn at the moment.
The hyphen Jaffa Williams goes up towards the wing position, knocked over and nicely trapped there by the trainer from Balwyn.
But, Brash, as soon as Blackburn and again Patterson started it and they got the switch and they're trying to use the corridor, the kick was, as Beto said, had to be perfect. It wasn't. They got away with it, but at least they're creating some run and some sort
they're
of
going to
flow.
try. They have to try.
They have to come into the corridor more often.
Yep.
Well, Sparrow did really well in the ruck contest and then was doing the roving work as well and paddled it out and might just scoot out there. Cross got the handball away, looking for Sexton, dispossessed over the top there. Urban lays a strong tackle, will have a ball up. 27 gone here in the second term. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on EFNL Game Day. It's Good Friday football, Premier Division styles, and it's a strong lead, 45-11. Blackburn trailing Balwyn as a kick from the stoppage goes by Bajaya, inside forward 50 or thereabouts. bounce and trickles over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
Get a late one. I'll give them a sniff here, Brash. If they can get one in
They
before
do.
half time.
But Balwyn just always seem to have numbers at the contest.
And poise.
Yeah.
They have not one Balwyn player has looked rushed today.
No.
So we haven't seen much action really this quarter, but Gap brought the house down with that Charlie Haley goal. There's no doubt about that. As it comes out now, Blackburn screaming for a free kick, throwing the head back was smart football by Xavier Murphy, and he won the free kick, and he deserved it. It wasn't an act. It wasn't a Joel Selwood.
It's a big kick now. Like Brash, he can probably aim it left goal post, maybe a little bit further. But it's a tough kick. But if he kicks this one, it gives Blackburn a bit of momentum, a bit of belief, reward for effort. If they can go in under 5 goals down at half time, that's probably a lot closer than they should be on the balance of play.
Just keep your eye on Nick Gray there. Come out of that contest, grabbing a calf there. So keep an eye on that, Jared.
So on the siren.
They need this goal just to have some momentum to take them into the second half.
That's an understatement, Brash. They need this goal. As Xavier Murphy goes goalward, and it's an absolute shocker.
That didn't
There is
spin, did
no score whatsoever. So out of bounds on the full is a result, which takes us to half time out here at Moreton Park on Good Friday.
And the obligatory Good Friday scuffle before half time.
We've got an absolute brawl on here.
Well, I wouldn't call it exactly a brawl.
It's a nice little friendly scuffle.
We're going to go to half time here because we need to take a breather, and so do all the players. So 6-9-45 is the Balwyn side. It's 3 goals to Charlie Haley. The rest are singles right across the board. Blackburn 1-5-11. We'll be back with the second half right after this across all our media channels.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, "Why, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice-cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy." And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park. Good Friday football here in the Eastern Football Netball League, and the crowd are out on the middle of the ground. Brash, it's a nice sight to see all of this, and unfortunately though for the locals who'll be supporting their Blackburn Panthers, they've been second rate. You can't fault their endeavour, their intensity, and their endeavour's been pretty good all day, but they don't have the polish to match Balwyn at the moment. Balwyn 6'9", should be further in front, 1'5", 11. Blackburn, the only goal of the day for Blackburn went the way of Jack Brooks. He kicked the opener, and it's been pretty lively. At the other end of the ground, though, Charlie Haley's got 3 goals, 3, including a wrong that Shane Warne would be proud of, the late, great Shane Warne. Yaron Jaffa-Williams, Nathan Oakes, and Joshua Pollux all have singles, joined by, of course, Wayne and Jared Beanley's been down on the boundary line. Jared, we'll ask for your insight. You've been down on ground level. From our point of view, Blackburn are matching them intensity-wise, but don't have probably the speed or the polish to match ball elsewhere. Is that your view as well?
They don't have the finishing power. They also, I feel like, don't have the trust in themselves to go the corridor or to take the risky options. As we've noted, the good ball users have been a little bit few and far between for Blackburn today, and I think that's sort of they've lost a little bit of the trust in themselves throughout the game.
Yeah, they're lacking confidence, Brash, and I think a telltale sign of that is the 4-on-1 with Jeff Gobles down here, and no one really attacked the ball, and we've all been there in just everyday life, but especially in sport. When you're not confident, you're sort of hoping that someone else will come over and do the hard thing, and you'll get the easy one to just get yourself in the game, and it almost ended up in a ball and goal. And I think that's a symptom of where Blackburn are at the moment, because they've been hit by a ball and wave.
Well, I don't think they were really ready to
come at them.
Yeah, it was almost like they got hit by a Mack truck in the first quarter.
It's quick, it's skillful, and it's strong.
Yeah, and I think that's enough to put you off your game first. In the first place. But I try and keep it in a little bit of perspective in the fact that, Matt, it's game one, and obviously Balwyn have been are a very good side. And
we're expecting Balwyn to be up there, and both of us have Blackburn missing the finals.
And look, I think probably Blackburn were probably a little bit shell-shocked at the start, but I think they started to slowly work their way back into the contest, but they've not been allowed to have any clean ball. Their forward structure is not able to find space. They can't. They're kicking for goal. They've had some opportunities and some easy ones at that, and they haven't been able to impact the scoreboard. No. Whereas Balwyn have they've probably played, for want of a better word, I reckon they've probably played a bit of tempo footy, Jared, in that quarter.
They've changed the gears when they've wanted, haven't they? Because there's been periods where they've just been happy to go along with this sort of seesaw stuff, and then when they get their chance to strike, Jared, it's been fast hands, fast runs, spread, a couple of overlapping runs, and Blackburn can't keep up.
No. And I think the only thing that Balwyn haven't completed is in front of goal. Like at the start of the second quarter, they really could have blown Blackburn off the park. Had they kicked a little bit more accurately. Lucky for Blackburn, they are able to wrestle it back a little bit, grind out some of the contests throughout the middle of the quarter specifically. But, it's been a pretty complete performance by Balwyn.
And that's the thing, right? They've probably done exactly what Brendan Allen's wanted them to do in the second quarter. But the thing is, if you don't get any reward for that effort, that makes it really hard, especially when you're not carrying any momentum into the second half, because you know that with Balwyn, the fact that they know that Balwyn in the blink of an eye, Matt, can just turn it on, that's always going to be in the back of their mind, and they know that they just cannot afford to make too many mistakes.
Yeah, they can't lapse at any point.
No,
they have to keep up that intensity the whole time. I think you're correct. The forward structure, it's hard as a forward on these days, because if you keep your structure, you might go touchless for a bit. You roll up to sort of help out, and then your team seems to get a break on, and then you're not in the right position. The only way back for Blackburn is I think just win it. They've got to start dominating the centre clearances, not just the clearances. They've actually the clearances is 11-10. I think the centre clearances, when there has been some, it's been Balwyn and they get a fast break. Blackburn haven't got any of those to really bring Ryan Bathy into the game, because if they can get him a few one-on-ones, you'd back him in more often than not. So I think that's their way of kicking a few goals. And fortunately for them, as Jared pointed out, Brash, Balwyn have kicked in accurately, so they've kept Blackburn at least in the contest.
I think the other thing too is you look at the two. Jared, the two key pillars. You got Bathy at one end and Lyle. Probably I said during the commentating, during the broadcast, the call, I should say, that really this ground is not suited for these two big guys. And the thing is that Lyle has put himself in positions where if he hasn't been able to take the mark, he's been able to get the ball down to ground to feed those peripheral runners. Whereas Bathy is running to all the wrong parts of the ground, and the people that need to support him are just not there.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So the thing is, there's a big difference when if you're kicking the ball to your key forwards, they're going to be in dangerous positions. In a half forward flank, you don't want your key forward leading to a half forward flank with none of your half forwards or pockets running with you. But when you kick the ball to the hot spot, that's where you want everyone, and that's where
it's interesting. It's the chicken or the egg, is it? Is it Bathy leading there and they're going there, or is it that's the only spot he's able to go? But it's an interesting point, and it'll be interesting to see what they can do after half time. Before we go to a break, quickly around the grounds, Waverley Blues and Ferntree Gully out at Mount Waverley. It's the Waverley Blues 8-5-53 leading a very accurate Ferntree Gully 6 straight 36. So, here Balwyn haven't put away Blackburn because of their inaccurate cricket. At Mount Waverley, Ferntree Gully's accurate kicking is keeping.
Well, they haven't been put away yet either.
No,
exactly. Right in that.
We'll keep an eye on those scores as we go on today. On the other side of this, we'll have the second half from Moreton Park. It's Good Friday footy here on EFNL Game Day, brought to you by Eastland between Blackburn and Balwyn.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to say. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair. Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park here for Good Friday football between Blackburn and Balwyn. It's half time here. Blackburn 1-5-11, trailing Balwyn 6-9-45, and it could have been more. Wayne Brasher here, as always. Gavin Casey as well, who's been calling the action beautifully. A nice little call of Charlie Haley's wrong. And let's talk about Charlie Haley, Brash. 3 goals, 3 with a couple out in the fulls, a couple near misses. He could be anything, and if it's only round 1, how do you play a player like Charlie Haley? I think Xavier Murphy's got the job, or Leah Murphy's got the job at the moment, but he's not usually your lockdown defender.
Thing is, you actually got to have a player of probably near equal ability with the same amount of footy smarts that Charlie Haley's got, because unfortunately, like when you're looking at players in the competition, you're thinking, what separates the good ones from the really good ones? And the thing is, when Charlie Haley was at North Ringwood, he was basically carrying the side because he was kicking the bulk of the score. He's come down to Balwyn, and he's probably, and he's coming to a good setup. But the thing is, he's elevated his game to another level because he's playing with better footballers. And when that happens, that's a recipe for success. The thing is, what probably brings him back to the pack is the fact that he's got that little streak in him.
Yeah, he has missed a few games over the years.
He has, and that's probably because he's not afraid to say something.
Say something, do something. Yeah. So,
but the thing is, aren't some of the great players?
Well, you play on the edge, don't you?
Yeah,
play on the edge.
And the thing is, that's probably what you expect from your mercurial types, because he's a mercurial type player. And the fact that he can turn something from nothing. And the fact is that he's the sort of player that, like I said, in the blinking of an eye, he'll change the game. And the thing is, that little purple patch of 5 minutes there in the first quarter, that was enough to set Balwyn on their way.
Well, set Balwyn on their way, and also send the fear of God up Blackburn as well.
Yeah.
Like how are we going to stop this bloke if he gets on a roll? And you could probably claim that he hasn't quite got on a roll yet, but that could still happen in the second half as Balwyn likely extend their lead on the balance of play.
I think, Matt, when you get all the the big key forwards, right? They when they have presence, and Charlie Haley's a forward, these guys you took. Lee Williams, Matty Gregg, those sort of footballers, right? They had presence. And the thing is, when they get on a roll, they strike fear into oppositions because they know what they're capable of in such a short amount of time. And when you're getting the ball delivered to you, sometimes with silver service, I mean, it's nearly impossible for... No matter how good the back line is, if you're getting the service, they're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Who in the Blackburn side would send the fear into the Balwyn side at the moment?
Well, put it this way, he's probably not playing anymore.
Jake Hammond, obviously. But on the field now, if you look at that list, who's the player, if he gets on a roll, can drag Blackburn back into it? It's obviously Ryan Bathy, but he needs service. That's the thing. And Mackenzie Dorian's another one. Like, he's playing more VFL football this year, which is great for Mackenzie, but he's the X factor that they're missing at the moment as well, isn't it, Blackburn? I look at this side at the moment and I don't see the X factor. Ryan Bathy excluded, but he's an X factor who relies on service as we go down to Jared Beanland boundary side.
Nathan Oakes tore his jumper during that last quarter, so he'll be coming out wearing the 81 rather than the number 13.
81, that would be up there with some of the higher jumpers that we've seen in Eastern Football Netball League history, Gavin.
Actually, I reckon I saw a listing in the record or on the game day website. Yeah, someone had 101.
Knox. I don't know who the fella is out at Knox.
I didn't think you're allowed to 100.
Well, neither did I. we're going to see some of the basketball stuff, 000. We also
88 would be the widest jumper.
Yeah, yes. Also, the IPL, so in the IPL, the blokes put their highest score on the back, so 400. I'd love to see like someone run around with their best ever effort in front of goal.
Take it away, Gav.
So round one clash, Good Friday, Blackburn versus Balwyn. Start the third quarter, and it's a 34-point lead for Balwyn. And kicks to the right. Blackburn going forward for the first attack. Now Hanley gets up and under, and it's the defence of Balwyn holding nicely. And it's just Blackburn, they don't have precision passing going forward. And that one was chopped off again. Long ball out, a good mark. Well done by Pollux again.
He's been impressive for a youngster. I think this is only his, sixth game in the senior side.
Live frame, but good overhead, and his kick finds the target again. And this time it's Jack Sexton, who's pointed to the goals and said, I'll have a shot with the wind, bit of left to right. He's like his brother, I think he's a good kick.
Looks like the wind's died down a little bit too, Gav, which means it probably won't swirl, which has probably been why players have been missing set shots so far.
He's still aiming for the left post. He's on that, and he's sort of bent it with his natural arc, and it's never, with the distance, has just hooked left for a minor score. Balwyn extend their lead to 35 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's go to Jared on boundary side.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Matty. The wind has definitely lessened down here. It's a lot less noticeable than it was during the second quarter.
Well, that's good news for Blackburn, I guess, Brasher. They can get into the contest, and then they'll be hoping it picks up again in the second half of this half.
So they go to the boundary side with the long kick out to Blackburn. Ground level disputed ball. A couple of Blackburn tacklers get in there amongst it, but again, it's Urban who's in the thick of it.
He's been impressive. He's probably not a high possession player, but he's got a good leg on him in terms of speed and in kicking. So
it's
another
good for
one of those key players.
It's a tough nut under the contest just to be the first hands. That injector to get the ball out. So he seems like a pivotal part for that midfield rotation, does
Absolutely.
Urban.
An unsung hero in a side that's got some pretty flashy players.
Ruck contest one down. There's Urban again. He pops a hand pass into the corridor, hoping a teammate can run under it. Comes the tackler, was a bit high, and the non-officiating umpire from the middle calls it over the shoulder, and Blackburn will pick themselves a free kick on half-back.
Good umpiring, had a better view than the officiating umpire, and it was definitely there.
Nice short pass in the Lawler gets onto. He goes wide, too wide, and Zalek just looks really distraught as he just sees it hit the ground and the fence.
That's symptomatic of their day, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? Like, that's the skipper as well, who's played a lot of VFL footy with a good kick, usually a good kick, and that's just a horrible turnover.
Long kick by Sexton, no mark taken for Balwyn, but they did get their hands on it. Now it's a disputed ball again, quick kick out again on the end of it. Schruber gets the kick inside corridor as he intercepts well. Now goes through Freeman, who goes out wide. Finds his teammate, Spottimer, whose kick smothered as he tries to spear a ball inside 50, and Blackburn with the numbers back, win the ball across, and it's got Murphy on the outlay. Now long ball. Running into it and taking the mark is Hanley from the left flank. He's got men running to the goal square. He'll go long with a ball that's lining up for his teammate in Brooks. He can't get to the contest, and it was a fist out by the ball in defence, who scurried back quickly and nicely. And Schreiber concedes a point with the fist.
And he's played a real key role as well, Brash, on the wing. He's playing like a sort of a wingman. He runs hard both ways, and a lot of his work's been helping out the defence. And there's another case there, although I think Casey had his name written all over it. Sorry, Gav, as well.
Yeah. And there's the kick in board for Blackburn. Again, doesn't hit the target, or the target drops it, so it allows Jaffa Williams to harass his way. Tackle comes in from Pollux, but Blackburn somehow get it going. But they're running themselves into tackle and dropping the ball by Dove. And it's a turnover. They're just, if not, creating their own trouble here, Blackburn. And the whistle's gone because there's no advantage.
You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to use a corridor, but once again, it's either pressure or just their skills aren't up to it. Like you said, there was a drop mark, a handball to a player under pressure, and there you go.
What class. Bowen Smith, just his kick into space in the pocket, and Haley just runs onto it and takes a nonchalant chest mark.
This is the final nail. He kicks this because Blackburn, you can see they're trying to take the game on. They've had a couple of chances inside 450. Again, nothing came of it. He kicks this now. For Blackburn, it's now, let's just learn from this.
It's interesting. He's going for the straight drop punt. He's on a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out. He's kicked 3-3 today. He's better when he's got a deliberate shot, and that is picture perfect. Another goal to Haley. He's fourth, and Balwyn kick out to 7:10:52. A 40-point lead over Blackburn. 1-6-12. 5 minutes gone. Third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Charlie Haley could be one of these players, Gav. I reckon he could be at least a 60, 70 goal player this year.
Well, he had 60 the year before when we were playing, and he had 30 from 7. So that's an average of 4.
Yeah.
He's got 104, like you said, 104 goals from 34 games for Balwyn. And then you add in today, so 35 games, he's now up to 108. It could be closer to 115 the way he's going.
Yeah.
And the thing about this thing too as well, like you can't really pick a clear best on ground for Balwyn either. That just shows how even their performance has been.
Urban does well again in congestion. He tried to use his teammate in Christ. Blackburn now do get on the ball. The kick around the corner, again chopped off. And this time it's Will Sexton at halfback just sitting nicely for a chest mark. He's got a short on, and he finds...
I think that's Oakes.
Oakes, who's changed jumper to 81, just to slightly confuse us. Now the long ball in, and not Lyle from back position. He just waved his player away and got front position and took a mark.
I'm getting worried now, Brash. Getting real worried.
Well, the thing is, it's the first time that Jordan Lyles actually had any clear space, and he still was and he found space and easily manoeuvred his opponent out of position and took a lovely grab.
Well, it's one thing is that he knew where the ball was, the opponent didn't.
No, you're right.
So Lyle from 45 metres out, not much of an angle. He's such a good goal kicker. He averages about 2 a game in his history here in the Eastern Footy League. That's a floater, but it's a floater that goes straight. It was one that went square off the boot, but it went squarely through the middle.
He almost looked like he meant it, though, the way he approached it. It's like he was trying to kick a sack.
So that's how they kick it in Gaelic football, but that went through the middle. It's now Balwyn kicking out to 8 goals, 10-58, 46-point lead to Blackburn, 1-6-12, 6 minutes gone, third term.
Yeah, it's worrying now. That,
it was ugly. That was an ugly kick, but it had the desired result.
Well, and that's probably the way too, that even Balwyn's mistakes are going straight to the middle and hitting targets, whereas Blackburn, each time they've showed more endeavour to use the corridor in this second half so far, but their kicks have been a little bit like that Jordan Lyle one without going through the big sticks.
Walked past President Richard Wilson just before, and I heard him tell a mate that they're going to win by 20 goals. So I thought I'd just broadcast that.
Okay. So if they win by 19, we just hang it on him?
To be fair.
Hey, Richard, you've just been thrown under the boat, mate.
Well, he owns the boat.
Yeah, he does.
Owns a couple.
That's it. As it comes out, little kick, which is a fresh air shot. The time by Zagari. High to throw the ball up now. Nicely done there by Harry, palm down, but once again, the Tigers, they're just everywhere. They're reading the play so well. At the front spot, Jaffa Williams was there. He'll go after it. Got a little left-hand knock on it, which worked out okay. Is the kick forward by Smith all the way. You little beauty. That's a fantastic goal by the man in the long sleeves this afternoon. And Smith gets his first. And now, all of a sudden, that 20 is looking a little bit more realistic, isn't it? So pressure on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard at the 8-minute mark to 9:10:64 to 1:6:12. Good to see old mate Ray Baird out here today in a little cameo on pre-match.
You wouldn't think he's back from the dead, the way we talk about him.
The Ray Baird Memorial Studio. Yeah, we're actually making a signal.
Three Blackburn players crashed that pack in the half forward and left two Balwyn players free. No wonder they scored. No talk.
Back in the middle of Moreton Park, it's again Balwyn getting it forward. Jaffa Williams didn't take possession smartly, then gets onto it. That's a throw, but it goes the other way to Blackburn. But again, dropping back to take a mark is Schreiber, and he is just finding good space.
You're loving that name today, aren't you?
Schreiber?
Yeah, I just don't know which way to go half the time.
Schreiber.
Yeah, Schreiber.
He's had a fair bit of it, to be fair.
I've only confused myself recently. Now it's in the hands of Blackburn. They're going along the wing. They're going the long way home. Will they find their way home through Hanley? He goes long, but it's all Balwyn dropping back. The numbers again, they're knocked out of the hands of the marker.
It was the right spot to kick to. There's just no one home, though.
Well, then that probably, in my mind, makes it the wrong spot to kick to.
No, because that's where that's where they should be making space to.
Well, nonetheless, 5 intercept marks this quarter already for Balwyn. It's only been 8 minutes.
Freeman to Rid. Rid's pass bites off more than it can chew, so it's a turnover ball. A long kick by Downey, goes in the forward line, but guess what? It's only Pendlebury back there, and he takes a mark on the last line.
6 intercept marks.
So Pendlebury, he's on a long raking right boot, goes to the wing or just short of it.
Kick.
Now it's a turnover ball because there was the numbers for Blackburn. And finally they got some inside 50 numbers, and it's been marked by Lawler, who was one of 3 options there.
He's got to kick this goal, Paddy Lawler. They really badly need a goal here, Blackburn, and that's probably the understatement of the year, but they really do need a goal.
It's not even about winning the game now. It's about saving some face.
They've got it.
You can't go down by 20 goals as El Presidente Wilson has put down.
They want to win a quarter.
Well, Brendan Allen said before the game, Brash, they're not rebuilding. 20-goal loss start to round one isn't a good way to start that.
Can Lawler just get some respectability on the scoreboard? Drops short, doesn't get the distance from about 50. It did, and disappointingly for Brooks, it wasn't in play for him to have a snapshot at goal. So it's a minor score. Balwyn 1-7-13 trailing by... Sorry, Blackburn 1-7-13 trailing Balwyn 9-10-64. So it's a 51-point margin in the third.
Chris. It's a thumping kick by Pendlebury. He went all the way into the centre square there, and we will have a ball up.
That being said, Brash, I think there's still some positives for Blackburn. Their midfield, their intensity's been there, and you can see what they're trying to do. They just lacked a little bit of finish and polish. Their balls into the corridor have been a bit scrappy, and like you said, the forwards at the moment, the synergy's not there, but they're missing a key player that's been their focal point for 10 years.
Harry's knocked down, went straight into the arms of Bottomer, who thumped it on his boot up towards the half-forward line out of bounds.
And you can tell that Balwyn have taken 12 intercept marks, and that's probably the sign of either poor ball use or poor forward synergy.
Umpire throws it in now, and we'll have a stoppage. 9 goals to 1, 64 plays 13. Good Friday football, Premier Division. It's not what we were expecting today, that's for sure. But Balwyn, as they did last year, they have really come out to play, that's for sure, which is great to see. Led well by Rodney Ede in his third season now at the Tigers.
Well, BWS, they were on a 6-game winning streak before the COVID.
They were the informed side, weren't they?
They were in devastating form.
And they were the only team to beat Vermont.
They were.
Perfectly brought up there, Matt.
Thank you.
Yep. That's a little handball over the top. Nicely done there by Reed, who just ran, finally got the handball away, and it comes out to Bajaya on the left boot and wanted a favourable bounce. He got that. Losing the football there was Wilson, so the Burners have the numbers. Little handball, maybe high tackle.
What's happening?
Yeah, it was soft. It's soft, but we'll give it to him. Not really there, but...
Well,
we won't doubt Damien Sully ever. There's short passes on.
Bathy, what do you reckon? I reckon Bathy's had, maybe 2 or 3 kicks today, Brash. This will be his first clear one.
He was getting around it in the third, just nothing went his way, I think, as it goes in towards the forward pocket. Can they scramble something out of nothing? They need it, and they can't get it, and they don't even get a point. That's just... I just don't know what to say. I'm a bit speechless. They can't even buy a point.
Disappointing.
They can't even buy a point.
Could have been boy. We make ourselves laugh.
Matty Casey's got the ball in the back pocket.
Good player.
Kick goes onward now. Next time we'll set up on the other side. That's where all the play is. I tell you what.
Then they'll come out this side, Ben. You know how it works.
It's so true. As the kick goes forward, a big fly that time there by Brooks. Couldn't pull it down. Kick goes towards the top of the goal square and knocked through for 1 behind.
That was better, though, from Blackburn in terms of Brooks went to the right spot. The kick went to the right spot. They had crummers. So, again, that's another positive. Like I said, they've showed signs, but they haven't done it all day. And like you said, they can't buy a point, and even when they do, it's because Casey decided to give it to them.
And he goes long into the middle. Leading option again, there's Lyle, but he drops the ball in the middle, so it's danger play as Blackburn go inside 50. It goes through the hands of Lawler. It was a bit like a bullet, though, so we could give him the miss there. And it's now a contested ball. Brilliantly, Bajaya putting some pressure on.
Bajaya's been impressive as well. He's been a hard nut. He's put his head over it, and that kick there was pinpoint accurate, Brash. He just didn't have someone on the end of it, but he's been impressive for Blackburn.
1 down. It's Blackburn having a flying shot in the contest, and it's drifted through for a goal.
Great.
And it's in the hands of Gray, who kicked it. Well done by him. He just sharked the tap, and from 30 metres out, just put it on the boot, and it went through for Blackburn's second. We'd say it's well needed, but they're so far behind.
But it is reward for effort, Gav. Yeah. Exactly. And Brash, they've, like I said, since quarter time, they've been more impressive. It's just the polish. It's obviously got the crowd up, but it is just it's just the polish they've lacked, Brash, at the moment. Their endeavour and their intensity around the footy has been as match ball.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is at the moment.
And hopefully, for Blackburn's sake and our sake, Gav, their polish can come up a level and we can make something out of this.
I like Brooks across half-forward line. He's getting involved.
Yeah, he's made a contest, and you can see again, he's no Jay Cameron, but he is making a contest.
There could be an 8-goal run here. Here's Conker as he bursts through the middle of the ground, kicks it towards the top of the goal square. Who's going to be down and scramble it through for a point? It's like I get all the points, you get all the goals. Through it goes for a Ryder score, and I'm okay with that. 9-10-64 to 2-9-21.
Boundary.
Let's cross down to Ryan, to Jared Beeland.
Well, as we were saying during the halftime show, Balwyn were very keen to switch gears and play tempo. Expect them to do that now, just to kill any chance of Blackburn to get back into the game.
Rough's edge goes into Conker, who's getting more of it now as he kicks the ball inside forward 50. Big fist over the back created the spoil. Charging after it there that time was Reed. Couldn't quite get the ball. Well done on ground level. The Tigers will have the numbers here. Backwards to go forwards. A kick there that time by Sexton, who got met after he kicked the ball, so it would have been downfield.
I hope it wasn't the Blackburn skipper there, because they've got a bit of a run on to give away a downfield like that. I know they got the mark anyway.
Sexton.
You don't want to be giving them away at any time.
No, you're exactly right.
Jordan Lyle's starting to get into the game too, Brush. He's had a couple of contests in the centre circles from the kick in, but also he's taken kicked that pie floating goal, taken a couple of marks. That's an even bigger danger side for Blackburn, because he's probably been the one quiet player for Balwyn in the first half.
Well, Lyle went up in the ruck contest that time. Ground level, Blackburn, who've done well the last 5 minutes or so, but they just don't want to cough up anything here. But the mark's been taken there by Anderson. Here they go. They're linking up in the middle.
Man.
Here he goes, right on the right boot, on the left boot, inside forward 50. Here's Lyle. Couldn't quite get the handball away. Eventually does. Urban handballs it off to Pollux around the body and through for one behind, because I'm calling it. Benny go back scoreboard, 16.5 minutes gone.
Again, Brash, we're talking about how hard Blackburn have to work. That was a training run the way they brought it into the corridor. Runners, that was reminiscent of training, Gav. That's where I did my best work. No pressure, run from behind. They couldn't quite get the goal because Ben was calling, as he correctly stated. But yeah, that's pretty nice, wasn't it?
They had a 3-on-1 to boot.
Yeah.
Long kick out from Blackburn, but they spot up an opposition player, Zagari.
8 intercept marks this quarter.
It was like he pinpointed him from 45 and said, here, have a running jump at it. And now the kick goes inside 50, and another mark inside 50. It's Pollux, this time for Balwyn. And for such a slender bloke, once he's got the arms up, he is strong.
Yeah, it's good. It's good play, and obviously kicking a point a moment ago when I was calling. Now you're calling, you put it straight through the middle.
And he kicked 29 goals in the under-19s for Balwyn last year. So obviously has an eye for goal. Already got one today as well.
Tell you what, he's got a deadly left foot, this Zagari.
Got a nice dazzer on him too.
There's a few of them.
What are you saying with him?
I mean, I think he's replaced Trelaw, I reckon.
So Pollux from directly in front, 30 metres out. He'll just trot his way to goal, and the goal umpire just does a pirouette and signals a goal. It's another one for Balwyn. 10-11-71. Blackburn 2-9-21. 2 goals to Pollux. He's been good.
They've all been good, Brash, the Balwyn players. When they get any sort of space or time, obviously by taking mark, you get time, they rarely miss, and Blackburn haven't been afforded that.
I think that nearly every forward six in Balwyn has kicked a goal, except I think Jeff Gobbles.
Gobbles, yeah, and of course, as
Gobbles,
he wants to gobble them up. He's looking for 450.
That's what it says there.
Styled that one out, Brad. Nathan Oakes is a big pickup too. Obviously, we've only played a handful of games for Nova Park, as Rodney Ede said on the pre-game. Spent a lot more time at the Balwyn social functions than the Nova Park ones. But he's polished before on the half-back flank. He stepped through traffic, got a handball away and cleared the lines for Sexton. He's going to be handy if he plays a lot of footy for Balwyn this year.
Well, the kick goes forward for Blackburn. Nobody is home. And short passes on. Schreiber, he's hit a target. We'll use this side of the ground, which is refreshing, some might say, as it comes at ground level. Picked up there by Hanley. Little handball backwards. Bajaya, handball out wide, looking for Hart. He got a linking handball as well. It just was a handball in hope over the top there, looking for Rough's edge. And he goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, and nearly knocking the Hurricane over.
No space, no time, no anything here for Blackburn this afternoon. They just can't get any clearance or free ball.
Throws it in. Leroy Green liked that one. As it comes in now, Hart on the right boot. Kicked it up towards the half-forward line. Just couldn't quite pull the mark down. Good strong tackle there by Hanley to get the ball to spill. Snap around the body. Inside forward 50 it goes. At the back there was Brooks, but he had the pace. Look at the dash by the big man to go after it. Brought to ground in a strong Casey tackle and rewarded as so, holding the ball.
So they've now got the forward trinity or the forward trio of Goebbels, Haley, and Lyle is pretty impressive, and now you've got the back trio of Pendlebury, Freeman, and Matt Casey. So you add in that midfield that's always been pretty good. Balwyn, they seem to have the full set at the moment, Brash.
They've linked up sensationally as Haley goes goalward. It might go all the way to the line. Which way will it bounce? And it does a wrong and last time it wronged in, this time it wronged out.
I won't pull you up on the definition of wronging, but that's not how wrongings work.
Yeah, well, who cares, Matt? Just worry about your special comments, mate.
That was a special comment.
You say.
You're ruining it. As it comes in now, and Gross was there. He was almost going to put a nail in it, and we'll have
a rush behind.
Correct. 20.5 minutes gone.
Well, that's the problem. Everything's rushed for Blackburn.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
except these kickouts. Let's see how they go.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time as rushing himself now as Patterson. He kicks it out wide. Is it too wide? No, it's just hit the opponent on the chest again.
10 intercept marks this quarter for Balwyn. They had 6 to half time.
And that was a shank as well.
Cross goes in, but he's looked at the opposition and it's a nice mark taken there. Help us out there. Is
Dunn.
That Dunn?
Mickey Dunn.
Mickey Dunn.
Socks up.
So Mick Dunn. Kicks a long way outside 50, but again, it's not targeting his players to advantage, and it'll be, this time, luckily enough, it'll be a ball up 60 metres from goal.
That's the best case scenario from that kick, and again, Mickey Dunn's probably not the most elite ball user, so I understand why he's gone long down the line, but their best case scenario was a ball up there, whereas Chevy Anderson could have easily gobbled that up, looked in the corridor for another ball and goal. It's just, at the moment.
Got a funny story about Michael Dunn. When he was 2 years old, it was mates with his brother, right? And we're over at their place. And you know those big, giant balls that you can get? There's a video of me throwing one right at his back and head and him just get face planted like right into the ground. Not one of my greatest moments.
Yeah.
I'm using the opportunity to say sorry to Mick right now.
It's GBH.
Jeepers, you've had 20 years to say.
Longer than that.
Sorry.
Little left foot kick this time by Zagari. And it was all too easy.
And that's the thing with ball, and this. I think this is going to be a theme this year. You make a mistake, it doesn't matter where it is on the field. We're going to hurt you on the turnover this year.
And their foot skills are so good. Yeah. That's the thing.
So Josh Pollux, he's kicked 2 goals today. He's got a very un-Balwyn haircut.
Really?
No, I think that's becoming more and more Balwyn.
Is it? Well, I live around there. I don't see too many dazzers. As it comes in now on the right boot, of course. He barely got a point that time. It's working its way out of bounds for me.
I think you'll get a mention in the three-quarter time huddle.
They'll ban me from, I don't know. Well, Blackburn would want me calling.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd take a lot to get you banned, BWS.
73-21. I love you, Brush. You're my favourite. You know that.
I wasn't last that day.
Long kick out. This time the mark from the kick out is great because it's Dove taking it at centre back. He looks ahead of himself. He'll just go long and direct. One-on-one contest soon becomes many against one for Blackburn.
Oh.
Harry, he's not the rover. He's a ruckman in the middle, though. Got tackled as he tried to kick it. Hand pass was hopeful. Chopped off by Hinkley. Hinkley's ball smothered, but Blackburn still might get it inside 50 if Faffy only got it on the boot. He didn't. It spilled to the ground, and Balwyn will take it away from the middle of Morton Park. Kick it out in front of Sexton. He's got a couple to beat, and the couple do beat him this time.
Why would you
chase
bounce
down
it straight
nearly.
away? That is stupid football.
But why was he so lackadaisical as well?
Yeah.
He thought he was roaming down the wing 100 points up.
Turnover cross at half forward to Lyle. One hand again. He's juggling the ball with the other. It brings it to ground. This time it's not the Tigers at ground level taking the ball. Blackburn, though, are using 4 just to make a metre. And this time they kick it long, 50 metres out. Lawler on the bounce, has to run and pick it up.
Ooh.
On his skates now, goes through the middle of the ground. The big punch comes in from Balwyn. Ground level. It's a heated contest now. This is great to watch. Blackburn can't get the kick away as it's tackled. So again on the wing, that's a push in the back, and that is a jury end to what was a heated contest, and Zagari will pick himself up with a free kick.
Great call, Gav.
Well, that was exciting, but it was again just a showcase of the day. It was just Blackburn trying to get away from Balwyn players, and eventually they turned in one too many corners and got stuck in the labyrinth.
Zagari, what a kick he is. He puts it to a hot spot. The markers can't get there in time, so Blackburn's punched down to ground level, and they will get it out. Nicely picked up by Reed. His kick out wide. Brooks on the bounce has to be good. He's got some help from Bajaya, but Bajaya can't get near it as Balwyn hold up close to the line and it's out of bounds.
He's got another string to his bow, the Zagari. Not only can he kick left very well, but he's also pretty deadly there on with that right foot too. Could be very handy.
Well, you would suggest that's his preferred, given it was a free kick. So that left foot kick becomes even more impressive before Pollux.
I reckon Blackburn need to have a red back with a white number.
I'd love it. I'd love if they change their jumpers.
It is difficult to read, isn't it?
Yeah.
25 gone in the third term. 73 plays 21. Very old school looking like as well, with the white patches on the backs of the jumper in VFL styles. As it comes out towards Urban, got the handball away. Can they sneak another one before three-quarter time? The Tigers, as they drive the ball forward at the back. Well, Haley was there and Sexton was running on, but over the boundary line she goes for a boundary throw-in. Any scores from around the grounds, Matthew?
Just checking that now. So our last update, of course, is Waverley Blues by 17 points. And, of course, my internet is now slow. So come back to me.
No problem. Lyle, quick handball out of the pack, but Berners' quick clearing kick is going to go nowhere and straight down the throat of Caden Schreiber.
He'd have the journey, wouldn't he?
He does, and you know what? He deserves to go back and have a ping here. Although he's setting up as if he's just going to pop it up into the hot spot. He's gone towards the pocket, big flyers over the back, and through for what do you know? One behind. 26 minutes gone in this third term. Let's go around the grounds to Mount Waverley.
Yeah, out to Mount Waverley. 9,963 Waverley Blues. Ferntree Gully 6,137. So accurate Ferntree Gully, but unfortunately doesn't look like they're creating enough. And Waverley Blues look set to go 2-1.
Well, one good thing that Blackburn are good at is bringing chips to the table. So thank you very much. As we
all get a chip.
Yeah. Blackburn, no, that was a good pass outside 50. Now Brooks can't get in front because, again, the wall is there. Will Sexton this time is the marking one. They just set up so nicely off half-back. He's hooked the kick. I think it's still in when it's marked.
Perfect.
And it's beautifully marked by his brother in Jack. Jack goes long. Lyle's turned around, and then he turns around again and nearly marks it. He had time to fight his opponent, then turn around. Just in all that, he spilled it to ground, and it's going to be a ball in.
The defender on Lyle has done pretty well all day, to be fair, because the ball's been in there a lot. You would think a man like him would probably have snagged 3 or 4. You're talking about the wall that's being set up, Gav. 12 intercept marks this quarter for Balwyn.
And it's not even the big blokes. It's the guys that just know where the ball's going to get to. Sexton, smart players.
Takes experience, Gav.
Here's Sexton. Jack trying to get on the ball in the goal square as it went from the boundary throw in, and the umpires come in and said there's a free kick for a push out, and it's going to go to Balwyn straight in front as now the new 81, that is Oakes, will get himself a shot from point blank range.
Yeah, just fell all over him there, unfortunately.
His chips are bloody good.
And there is the siren. It's three-quarter time. We have a 53-point advantage to Balwyn. It's only going to be greater soon. Oakes from straight in front. It goes slightly off the left, but it was so close he couldn't miss, and he didn't. So it's another goal. Balwyn 11-14, 81 on Good Friday. It's very good for the Tigers. They lead by 59. Blackburn at 2-9-21.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, well, yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice-cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boob armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo, and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park for Good Friday football here from the Eastern Football Netball League. It's Blackburn host Balwyn as these two sides kick off their Premier Division campaigns for 2022. And at 3/4 time, looks like Balwyn will get off to a pretty handy start and might go straight to the top of the ladder. They lead Blackburn 11-14-80 to Blackburn 2-9-21. The goal kickers for the Burners will start there. Pretty simple. Jack Brooks has one, and the other one went to Nicholas Gray. It was a nice goal from a stoppage, inside forward 50. For Balwyn, Charlie Haley has 4 goals, 3. Yaron Jaff Williams has a single. Nathan Oakes has got 2, including one right there on the siren. Jordan Lyle's got 1, and Joshua Pollux has 2, along with Bowen Smith, who kicked a nice running goal in that third term. Gav Casey, Wayne Brasher with me at 3/4 time here. Look, we're already talking about our 3-2-1s, but who are the players that have impressed you most from Balwyn, gents? And then what can Blackburn take out of this game and this last quarter? Hey, Rodney.
I think, really, Schreiber from the half-back line has definitely been probably Balwyn's best at the moment, Matt. I think he's hasn't
taken
really
a lot of intercept marks as we go down boundary side to Jared Beedland, who can probably ask this question to Rodney Ede.
I've got Rocket here. So what were you most happy about during the third quarter there?
I think the most pleasing thing was very similar to the first half. I thought our pressure was really good. I thought our ability to put the ball carrier under some real heat. Their hands was quite quick at times, but our third and fourth player was impacting the pressure-wise. So I think we got a lot of turnover, we got a lot of opportunities to score. Unfortunately, we didn't take advantage of that, but I thought our pressure was fantastic.
And what's the plan for this final quarter? Now you don't have the breeze.
We'd just like to win the quarter, win it by a point. I think it'll be a good effort. So it's a bit like the second quarter where we won that. We just still got to work hard and put the pressure on them.
Easy. Thanks.
Right under Jared there down on the boundary. And an interesting point there from Rodney. They've got the polish, but yeah, those third and fourth efforts, the players, when they get the handball away from the first tackler, the second tackler, the third one gets them or puts the pressure on, which led to a turnover. And as I said, 12 intercept marks, and there were countless other intercepts that weren't marks in that quarter from Balwyn.
Yeah, look, I just getting back to the players, I think Schreiber, Will Sexton, you've got to put Charlie Haley in. And I've got Zagari as well. I think he's played well on a wing. But, I mean, you could,
like you say, throw a blanket over.
Blow a blanket over the rest.
Who's Gav impressed you from Blackburn? I'll give you the tough job.
Sorry, Gav.
Yeah, true. Well, Harry's has been manful.
I think is it Connor Hinkley? I'm not. Oh no, Jordan Hart, who's been playing on Jordan Lyle. I think he's done really well to keep Lyle to just one goal. I think he's kicked one goal, and that's probably his only shot at goal he's had. Gents is pretty impressive considering his team's pretty good by foot, and they've had probably, 60%, 70% of the play. That's a pretty impressive effort.
Hanley's done a few things nicely, I think. It's tough to find because
great.
Bajaya's been good. In and under, he's created some stuff. Again, I think they've got some nice plays to build around, but at the moment their kicking's letting them down. You can see what they're trying to do, and that has been encouraging, that they're trying to use the corridor more and try to break the game open. But their turnover, as Rodney alluded to, is something Balwyn were impressed or happy with, but also Blackburn would be disappointed. Their inability to hit targets at times, Gav.
Yeah, definitely, and the marking forward option has just been missing as well.
Well, they need two bathies, one to play around half forward to create that get out of jail, and then one in the goal square. And at the moment, there's only one of them, and he's been quiet. Brash, he's only had a handful of touches. So we're almost all in readiness for this last quarter. It's been a bit of a dampener to Good Friday, but it is good to be back out here at Blackburn. We've got a pretty strong crowd here to be nudging, 600, 700 people for a round one game. Obviously, Good Friday can mean a lot to some people, but it's good to see people out at Morton Park as Gav Casey takes us away for this last quarter of EFNL match day.
Anderson gets up high, wins the tap for Balwyn, but it's Blackburn's clearance through Harry. He gets an up and under to centre forward again. Balwyn get it, but it's nicely sharked by Bartlett. Hands it off to the running Hanley. Hanley puts it to the left post, and it does hit it. So it's all that energy, and still a minor score for Blackburn. They trail by 58 points early in the fourth quarter, 2-10-22, Balwyn 11-14-80. So the kick out, he had to come from behind, but a nice mark over the top by Smith. Good player, Bowen Smith, gets his hands on the ball, even from the kick out, does nicely, kicks it to Sexton. Sexton, long raking hand pass, and they're off and running. There's one of the best, Schreiber. He gets it out wide, and then Jack Sexton's on the end of it. So with the blonde hair, you're noticing those three a lot. Will and Jack Sexton.
Well, they've been kicking it to each other as well, the Sextons.
And Schreiber, of course. And then the short pass close to the boundary line, but no one in the way for an easy mark to Lyle. He just walked into that mark on the boundary.
Yeah, I have a feeling this quarter, it can go one or two ways here for Blackburn. They can impress and put some respectability back into it, Brash, or they could really just be looking for the siren, and it could go downhill pretty quickly.
Could be a coach killer. Some of those times are coach killers, aren't they, Gav?
From the left boundary, hooks it around the corner. No distance as he hooks it from a long way out. And it's not rushed over. It should have been, because you're allowed to do that under pressure, and the kick nearly goes out in the full. But Blackburn just keep it in to their own advantage. Under a heap of pressure as Bartlett right in front of us took it over with his hand that was going to punch the ball for a hand pass, took it over the line to the umpire.
Jordan Lyles had 2 shots on goal today, and he's kicked a couple of sacks. One went through the middle and one almost got there, Gav. I'd love to see when he gets his connection right.
Well, it's a hard 40 metres around to kick around the corner because you've got to kick it higher.
It can look really good or it can look really bad.
Yeah. And now a free kick goes the way of Anderson in the ruck contest, and he's looking for hand off. He's got plenty to hand it off to, but he's just going to kick it as long as he can and hope for the big mark. They all fly at it. Punch in by Lyle. He couldn't get his hands wrapped around it. Gray's there at ground level. Sweeping hand pass to the run in Bajaya. Bajaya just dumps the kick out onto the wing, and he's happy for a boundary throw in on the outer side.
But he had no options, Gav. That was the problem. He made all the play there, but Jay made the position, got the handball received, but there was no one downfield to kick it to.
No, they're definitely getting numbers behind the ball now, Blackburn. Potentially knowing that the wave is coming their way.
And it could be a big wave.
Could be a bit of party time too. Get a few blokes a goal early in the year. Your Chevy Andersons.
Well, Smith's good in the contest. Quick kick up flying was McCaffrey just to make a contest of it, and he did well to come in as the tackler after he tried for a mark. So that's just the intensity of Balwyn today. They're all over it.
Well, they haven't had any. They've always struggled here at this game, though, in previous years.
Ground level again, McCaffrey on Conker. The flying hand pass comes out, and it's another ball up. As Balwyn fall, they put the pressure on around the contest. It's not coming out of that inner rim, and if it does, it'll probably advantage Tigers because, again, the ruck contest won. Flying hand pass by Sexton over the top. Here's Haley through congestion, dodging and dancing. This time it's not dancing in the stars, so he hands it off to his teammate. Flying kick goes into the pocket, and it's just floating away from goals and out of bounds.
Surely they can't leave Jeff Gobles on 4.49 as well, Brash. They've got to find a simple one over the top for him.
That was a good result there for Balwyn. Probably didn't deserve that boundary.
So it's 40 metres out from goal. Anderson sets up nicely, Gets the tap over the back, hoping for the runner in Sexton. He gets under it. He wanted to take the high tackle, bent the knees, but the tackle was good, came down with him, and that was well played by Reed.
He reminds me a little bit of Charlie Haley as well. They've always got two of them.
Another ball up. Anderson tap down. Cross floating on the outside of the contest. The hand pass comes out, but it's going to be... The cross comes back to cross from 50. Fly up the ball. Lyle. Well, eventually they just drifted off him and he nearly accidentally took the mark. Or it could have been, a few like Zagari getting forward.
I think you can see as well on a big ground when they can really get teams and spread them out, Brash. You can see if Lyle gets one-on-one, he's going to take a lot of marks. Whereas today, he's just, because it's so cramped for room, guys have been able to help out. But you can see on a bigger ground, he's going to get some separation on his opponent and just Tom Hawkins them out of the way.
Free kick, Blackburn.
And that's good relief for them out of the contest.
Have a donut. So back pocket here, 80 to 22. 22. 3/4 of football. Tugly. 22. Signing autographs as well, Brash, I see. The kick goes out towards the wing position. Good run on here. Hubba on the right boot. Up towards the half-forward line. Pendlebury over the back up the knockdown. Had support running in from one of the best players on the field in Schreiber. He ran over the football but then laid a good tackle. So they're linking up here, the Tigers. They're linking up really well, but that last one just couldn't find Schreiber, and over she goes for a boundary throwing.
One player Blackburn need to try and get into the game is Paddy Lawler. He's been renowned for his runs through that half back line. He's just not finding the areas to get that space he needs to break the lines.
He might have been one of those players that when they had that really strong midfield was a bit of an icing on top player.
Yeah.
And now without your Compton there, Mackenzie Dorian's not there. A couple others have moved on. There's a bit less depth. He has to do a bit more, and it takes away from his real polish, which is that run and dash and good kicking leg. Whereas when he has to do the in and under work as well, they can take away from it.
Kick goes up, taken by Schreiber. On the left boot, thumps the ball down the wing. Knocked away, and they get a bit of a run on here. Hyphen Jaffa Williams couldn't quite trap it. Picked up there by Reed, though, for the Burners. Over the top they go. Up towards the half-forward line, Bathy working his opponent underneath it, and then we'll get the handball. I'll get the ball. Got the quick button onto Ruff's edge. They're linking up in the middle. They're almost just one too many possessions or putting each other under pressure. Indecisiveness and
free kick.
Oh, it's the throwdown tackle.
And a free kick. I was getting there. It'll be Blackburn to have a shot.
Nick Gray.
Who kicked one goal in the third term. One that we were screaming for, really. And they're screaming for another one here. But we all know what's going to happen. 6 minutes 40 kick over.
But you're predicting a behind here, Ben?
Well, hopefully he breaks the duck because getting a bit sick of it, to be honest, as he comes in now. Nick Gray leans over it and kicks it beautifully. That was a great kick. Never looked like missing off the boot. So he gets his second goal. Blackburn get their third. 3:10:28 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 7 minutes click over in this final quarter. 11-14-80 Balwyn.
But a free kick was the only way they were getting a clear shot at goal there, wasn't it, Bash? Because they just handballed it. Lawler got it, handballed it to Gray, said, you have it. It was just Balwyn plays everywhere. They were a bit flat-footed. I think that's something. Obviously, Brennan Allen, look, it's hard because I suspect Balwyn are the premiership favourite. So it's a hard first task for Blackburn. But I think Brennan Allen would be disappointed that the amount of times they've just had to fire handballs around the blokes that aren't moving.
Ball back in the middle. Running onto it there was Oakes, who's got the jumper change. Squeezed to kick up. Nicely done.
Here they go again.
I've liked Zagari today.
Yeah, he's been good and uses both sides, as Brash alluded to. He used the right foot for a 50-metre bomb before the line, and then that one left foot as well. So pretty competent on both sides.
Casey, he had to be a perfect kick, and that's exactly what it was. And a strong jukes as well by Chevy Anderson, who wastes no time either. Ball goes deep inside the forward arc. Over the back there of Haley's head, Lyle was in there. The big man just wanted to keep the ball alive. He did that to Pollux, who's kicked 2. Got it to Haley, who's kicked 4, who ducked the head and didn't want it and wanted a free kick. Umpire Damien Sully said, I saw the duck.
He's got that thing
did he get the free?
No, I thought he called. No, he called my ball.
No,
he called my ball.
No,
but Charlie's got that thing, doesn't he, Brash? We had 3 blokes around him, and Pollock still gave him the handball. He might kick it from here.
No, he's not getting a kick. He's getting nothing.
Yeah.
So Lyle when they're playing the rock contest.
But I think Pollux has gone, he's going to get tackled, but I'll give it to him anyway, because if there's anyone who can work his way out of this, it's Charlie. Tom McCaffrey's another one I've liked his game too. Run off half back and a really good ball user as well.
Lyle stole it out of the ruck contest, handballed it into position A, but nobody was home. So the clearing kick by Blackburn goes no further than that man, Chevy Anderson, who got the handball quickly off. On the left boot, driving the ball is Zagari all the way to the top of the goal square. Over the back it goes. Who's going to be the man there to get rid of it? Oh, there's 3 burners there, but Haley then almost got his head ripped off.
He was nearly DDT'd into the turf there.
Darian Sully now is a man on a mission. He's saying, do not duck your head, Charlie. That's 2 in a row. He said, you duck your head. And I've got to agree with him. Both times, he's played for it a little bit, Charlie. He wants that bag of 5.
So, Sully throws it up. Lyle from the stoppage got boot to ball, but to no avail. Out of bounds. Right near the grandstand here, down at Moreton Park. Paint it red and black. It looks so nice.
Still yet to win at home
I
since the rebuild. And we keep mentioning it, hoping to jinx it, but it's sticking with them. They might have to move grounds, playing the bottom over. The same size.
It's not the worst idea.
Got to try something.
Put a few windows across the back of the room.
Yeah.
Switch it up.
We need another story. It's election time. If there was ever a time to get a rebuild.
I don't count on Michael Suka doing anything for you.
Oh, look out.
I like it, Brash.
As the kick goes up in the air, who's going to be the flyer? Oh, Haley was there. He almost pushed Pollux out of the way. Pollux like, you got 4, I got 2. I want another one. So, across the face there. So
there is a bit of that sort of everyone wants a goal now feel about this ball and forward line. They're not giving each other space. Everyone wants they're thinking of the celebration already.
Yeah, I want a goal too.
Yeah. That's how I got my goals.
Lawler would kick out, but went nowhere. And, well,
Bottomer.
Another player wanting to put their hand up for a goal. He's yet to trouble the scorers today.
He's been one of the quieter Tigers, and that says a lot.
Yeah, I think this might be about his 3rd or 4th touch, I think. Still, he could have an impact, even with 1 possession.
And what's the carry on here? Are they asking for a 50-metre penalty or a 25?
Maybe just even where the mark is.
Jaffa Williams is...
He started his run up from the other end of the ground. So he comes in now and he kicks it long and he kicks it pretty straight, drifted to the last moment, and Mickey Dunn went yoink and knocked it through for 1 behind. So Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The game's flattened out. The excitement pretty much left this game really early on, didn't it? But it has been enjoyable to watch Balwyn go about it as the Burners bring the ball back in, Gav.
And it's turned over, and Jaffa Williams standing where he was in the zone, takes the mark at half forward, looks into the pocket. Where will Lyle be? He'll be jumping at it, and from the back, he takes the mark again. He had 2 coming back at him, but that didn't matter when he put the knee up in the big grasp.
I don't think Jordan Lyle takes many where he gets off the ground either, so he'll be pretty happy with
Was that
one.
off the ground?
Oh, he just, have a look at the replay screen there, he got up.
Well, there was one leg off the ground as he put the knee up.
Another thing, Gav, he hasn't kicked a drop punt yet today, Jordan Lyle. He kicked that absolute sack that went 40 metres before.
Yeah.
If he can get it spinning, that'll be a big win for him.
Are we allowed to place kick it?
I don't know.
Typical mongrel punt.
Kick it over the train line.
And he does.
Yeah, got it spinning, Gav.
That's better. And the celebration is not widespread, but Lyle gets another goal. And it's now Balwyn's 12.
You're talking it up, Gav. Get it going.
I tried, and then I realised no one's up with me. Balwyn's 12, 16, 88. I was listening for the Balwyn faithful.
They've one clap.
Well, mate, the Balwyn faithful, they're beating the traffic. I've never seen supporters beat the traffic at a win, but little short trip up Canterbury Road.
Oh, they'll be loving it. It's 12, 16, 88 Balwyn, 60-point advantage over Blackburn, 3-10, 28, 12 minutes gone, 4th term.
You should see when they lose and they hit that Coffin Road tram, mate.
Exactly. And I think this is one of those games where, in terms of territory, like if you just took the game on territory and time of possession, you wouldn't say it's a 60-point differential, but it literally just has been that polish, hasn't it, Brash, and pressure, because Blackburn haven't struggled to get their hands on the footy. It's just when they've got their hands on the footy, they haven't done anything with it. Whereas every time Balwyn get their hands on the footy, you think it's going to be a goal.
Well, we've got 87. The scoreboard's got 88. We'll go with the scoreboard for now.
I got 87 too.
Do you?
Yep.
So John Lee's going to kill me for not backing him as it comes in now. It's in the forward arc. But the clearing kick by Blackburn up towards wing position, judging the ball nicely there, and a good mark taken by Hanley, who swings around with an absolute shank of a kick. That was a shocker. Goes up Pendlebury, just happy to see the ball over, happy to see his opponent Downey fall to the ground and then help him back up with one hand.
Tried hard all day, I reckon. Hanley probably.
Yeah, he's been an impressive Blackburn player, but Chris Pendlebury on the other hand,
solid as a rock.
We haven't really spoken about him, but that's because he just sort of slinks into the back wall, doesn't he? Does his job and returns out again.
He rarely gets beaten, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
The kick goes up. Sexton took a good mark in the middle of the ground of the Jack variety, up towards the half-forward line. Bit of holding this time, and Damien Sully said you didn't. Now you get this free kick.
Charlie will try to play on here, and then Damien will call him back because I think a younger umpire, and Charlie's taking off there and seeing if they know the rule.
Yeah, you're lucky that he didn't get 50 there, because we saw an incident at the basin where the bench went.
Yeah, but
went AWOL.
I think there was a bit more on that game at that time.
Yeah,
Brash.
I know, but it shouldn't be.
I know, you're right. It should be a blanket rule.
Oh, the
don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Yeah. Oh well, that was actually moment of the year. But
it was brilliant. Charlie Haley, he still might play on. Matt, you never know. He comes in now. He'll kick from just outside the 45, and he floats it straight through the middle. That is beautiful. And he celebrated. He started the lap of honour early as it floated back.
he's giving it to them. They're up by 60 points. It's completely unnecessary from Charlie.
Charlie gave it to the boys at the barbecue and the bar. Don't you worry about that. 5 goals on the board to the spearhead.
It's theatrics.
Why, Brash? I wasn't a Charlie Haley. Maybe if you're Charlie Haley, you do that. Maybe they've been giving it to him, Brash. But there's 60 points up.
He's got Mark Jackson written all over.
You reckon?
It's just
Jago Jackson.
It's just comedy.
It's part of who Charlie Haley is.
It's theatrics. I love it.
You take everything he gives you.
He wasn't that confident off the boot too, because he didn't go straight away, did he, Gav? He just watched it and then he was confident and went for it.
Let's keep going.
Natural burn, and it's gone to Balwyn's forward 50 again. Chasing was Oakes. Again, of Jaffa Williams there to harass, and Blackburn under a heap of pressure. Conco, a bit of poise, hands it off, but the pressure is too big for Patterson. Now the runners are going. Will Oakes have a shot?
That's a bit stiff.
Yeah, that's 50.
Well,
he
took the risk that it was Balwyn's kick, but it wasn't. And Blackburn are saying, well, we should march down the field.
And look at Charlie. He would have sent that one onto the train tracks, I reckon, Gav. And then he would have given it to that side of the Blackburn faithful.
It's funny, I haven't seen a football on the train tracks down there yet.
Operative word.
Now that it's built underground, it's fantastic. That was a crossing that needed to go. But that's the side track anyway as we go forward for Blackburn, going to half forward as they go from the right side now. Conker's got the ball, goes inside at 50, and a nice short pass hits a target, and it'll be a shot at goal for the Burners.
He used to know how to set the boom gates down at that crossing.
Yeah, with a 2-cent piece. I remember how to do it too.
There's a lot of history in this box here talking about the boom gates, as now it's gone out wide into the pocket, and it's hard taking the mark in the pocket.
You can tell the football's really engaging at the moment, can't you, Gav?
It was one of the best things that's happened in the area, I reckon. But anyway, it's now kicked from one pocket to the other and out in the full from Hart, and it's another miss for Blackburn. They are 3-2-28. Trailing Balwyn, who are on 13-15-93.
Well, they've had a litany of misses this afternoon, Blackburn, Gav.
So Balwyn using the far side here. It's really just give it to Charlie at this point in time.
Oh, Jeff Goebbels is still sitting on 4-4-9, but he doesn't look to be on the ground.
Spinning around that time and getting through traffic and up towards the forward line, bouncing football inside, snap around the body, goes towards the top of the goal square. Where is Lyle? Used his body well. He just tried to outmuscle his opponent then and managed to pick the football up. I don't know how he did that, but he did well, and almost receiving a free kick, or maybe he will be.
He did.
A high one. That wasn't a throwback of the head.
Well, look at Lyle here on the replay. Incredibly strong. So Two blokes couldn't bring him down.
Urban will have a shot on goal, and he's already kicked one behind today. So he'll go back right in front of the Charlie Haley fan club and have a shot on goal for their 14th.
And they just put down their banner that said, "We love you, Charlie," which is unfortunate.
Right post. Aim for the right post is the message. Urban comes in now, and he has drifted it, and he did not aim for the right post.
Quick query there. The man on the mark feigned to throw grass. I feel that would be against the stand rule.
No, you can do anything above the feet.
Above the feet.
You can even jump up in the air.
Above the feet?
Yes. You can do what you like. You can dance. You can wave your hands in the air.
I feel he moved off his position to throw it.
Oh, we'll get into dancing anyway.
We are. Something to fill the time.
How much grass did he throw?
Well, there's not that much out
The
there.
severity of the grass throwing meant it was a free kick against.
Ross Edge on the right boot. Picked it up forward, looking for Downey. Spotted up his teammate in Reed, who can't get rid of the football, holding the ball.
Haven't seen many of them today, have we?
Nah, very, very little.
Gab's man. Tree trunks on him, Brush. He's a powerful, powerful man.
We're not related.
Matthew Casey. Yeah, he can still be your man.
Yeah, definitely.
Short on, Sexton. Drives the ball up towards the half-forward line. The flyer out there was Pollux, who got knocked away from him at ground level. Burners will look for the switch here. They're in trouble. And a throw has it been paid? Wowza. So it'll be Oakes, the recipient. No, in fact, it will be Wilson. So Tom Wilson.
Well, that's the new rule, isn't it? You've had chance before
I'm
tackles.
happy with that being paid.
Yeah, I like it. I reckon you've had your chance, prior opportunity.
But there was
should be there.
But there were tackles like that early on,
Yeah,
though,
exactly.
Gav, that weren't
100%.
paid, though.
Tom Wilson. He'll kick from 40. Streams on in now, and it is a good kick right to the line. Has it got the carry? It doesn't.
Touched.
And through for a minor score. What a surprise. 20 minutes tick over. Final term out here. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
You got your Nick Gray goal.
13-18, I know, 96, 3-10-28.
He's got the barrel.
Oh, that's a big kick.
And it was gun barrel straight, too, to a Balwyn opposition.
Kick goes out wide. Take it away, Brash. Cubs out now. Nicely done there, Hanley. Got the handball away to Lawler. In the middle, that was a shocking kick, but it's linked up well with Bathy. Got it away to Gray. Gray goes up towards centre half forward. He was looking for Conker at the ball. He'll go after it again. Numbers back. Pendlebury switches it out wide. Bottomer goes out even further wide to Sexton. A Will Variety. Keep the ball moving. They've done that so well today. This is coast-to-coast football, but a floating kick goes straight down the throat of Liam. No, it's not Liam Murphy. It's Jimmy Powell. And he relieves to Michael Dunn. Short pass, and the hyphen there, Jaffa Williams, isn't too impressed with that being paid. Everyone just having a rest. What's happening here?
I think
he's done a round
he
one.
might have cramp.
Yeah, round one, cramp.
He's doing a scuttle.
Is it cramp? He's just getting himself off the ground.
He's scuttling off.
Do you think the last quarter will go more than 23 minutes and 37 seconds, BWS?
He's getting exact now, bro.
Up towards the wing position. There's a big fly. It's right in front of us here in the broadcast position. Good on you, Pendles.
Well, how many goals has he ever scored?
Chris Pendlebury, I don't know. I didn't check that today, but he ran 15 metres there to make sure that the Blackburn player didn't get an easy mark, and his team's up by 77 points.
No
67 points. That's incredible intensity and motivation and commitment from a player who'd be closer to 40 than 30 in a side. You know, he doesn't need to do that. He's got the respect of his teammates, but that just shows how much this side is playing to win from the get-go this year.
That's downfield too.
That's got to be the world's longest comment as it goes out.
I had another one earlier.
Two contenders.
As the ball is, well, there's been several bits of play since the last time.
That was last week
across
when
the
that started.
half-forward line.
Nothing happened.
Big fly over the back here now, Hart. Kick goes up towards the half-forward line for Blackburn, going back with the fly. Zagari. He's in my votes today, Zagari.
Yeah, I think I might have to squeeze him in.
No need for the zinc anymore. The sun has gone. Dunn was the flyer for Blackburn, takes the mark, and he's going to go backwards to create a bit of a switch here, which he did do that. And now they've just taken way too long, and they copped it up. It's just like you could see that a mile away.
Yeah.
Short passes on Jaffa Williams. Where's Charlie? Jaffa Williams. Well, he might want to get around it too. He's already kicked one early in the piece.
He's doing the fake. He's doing the fake
Yes,
look for
I
a
know what
target
you're
there.
saying.
Yeah. Lockie Neal did it last night, and they do the fake. Oh, no one's on. I'll have to have a shot now.
There was plenty on by you. Cross for just drifting past him on the right.
Geordie Lyle still hasn't been manned up.
Got some pretty fancy boots on him too. Look at those little puppies. As it comes in now, And he's a beautiful kick. Has it got the carry? It doesn't. He should have passed it on. And 3-4 behind. So, out of 19 behinds for Balwyn today, I think I've called 18 of them. 13, 19, 97 to 3, 10, 28. A shellacking out here today at Moreton Park.
I think the last time they played out here, Balwyn, I think they kicked 4-15, I think, Matt, in one game.
Yeah, I think Blackburn won by 20 points, but had like 10 less scoring shots. So still goal kicking's not an issue, Rash, but if you have enough opportunities, you're bound to put a few through the middle.
Well, they've had 32 scoring
But
shots.
this is the picture of the game. They're skirting the boundary line here, Blackburn, and Balwyn have 75% of the time used the corridor beautifully.
They've set up, haven't they, to make them go long down the line, and then they've got Freeman, Penderbury, Casey and Chevy Anderson just taking marks, with Schreiber in there as well.
Here's a chance for a fast break as Roughedge just keeps it in front of himself. He bundles his way forward, hands it over to the runner. Bajaya in the pocket. He'll have a flying shot, but it misses from the right. But it was a good attempt. It was just a burst of energy there from Blackburn. They moved it forward by tap and by brute force. Minor score, though, in the end. Blackburn 3-11-29. Balwyn 13-18, 96. Bendigo Bank scoreboard late in this game.
And mark has been taken by Liam Patterson on the kick-in. So Blackburn, chance to go deep. Man, the man in the forward pocket, you want to spot that one. Instead, kick to the top of the goal square. And standing strong was Matthew Casey, who's been very consistent today as the kick goes out looking for Wilson. Ball overran him. So Blackburn again, another chance to go inside forward 50. Who's going to be the target there? Lawler was there. He copped one on the scone, and that was he copped one good on the scone, but no free kick paid. And over she goes for a boundary throw.
It's like an 80s hit. Cop one, good.
Around the grounds, Mount Waverley Reserve, Finchley Gully 6-5-41, Waverley Blues 14-11-95.
Everything's coming up Millhouse, Gav, as it comes up now. Knock forward.
So what's that, a 0-2 start for the Gully?
Yeah, and they'll probably, their percentage is taking a bit of a hit, and Waverley Blues will go 2-1 after playing, three pretty good teams.
How good's Fair Park sitting at the moment on top?
And Ray was trying to tell us they should have been relegated.
I think when we all...
He might have been winded.
It's a classic.
We'll never get tired.
No.
Ever.
Just if I'm having a bad day, just text me. Just tell me.
Next time you message me and I'm feeling a bit down.
You're just winded, mate.
Yeah, you'll get over it.
Bouncing ball into
punctured lung, but anyway.
Oh, we got an angry emoji on our screen.
Sold a little bit of candy.
That's the Ray Bear.
Is it?
Yeah.
Last line of defence, Balwyn, Schreiber. He's got to be in the votes as well, you would think.
I've got him as best on.
Yeah, I'm not far behind you.
Hasn't copped up anything really today, and then he's just done something that he might just do exactly that. But Cross was in there. Cross been relatively quiet, to be honest, by his standards. Short passes on, and the mark has been taken there by Bergea.
He deserves one. Of all the Blackburn players, he's one of them, I think, who deserves a goal. And we'll know a lot about Blackburn by the end of this month because they play South Croydon here in a couple of next week. And if they have another big loss, we'll know exactly where they stand.
Well, they'll kick on the siren, so won't do anything to the result of the game, but it will affect the scoreline, and that's a beautiful kick. So Bergea gets a goal that we say that he deserves. He's been one of Blackburn's better players today. They finish with 4, the Blackburn side, and the final score out here, and there's a 1-point differential between the two scoreboards, but we're sticking with ours because Brush is backing it in. So final score out here at Moreton Park, 4-11-35 Blackburn. They lost today to the Balwyn Tigers, 13-18-96 with Charlie Haley. 5 big ones up forward for the Tigers.
Yeah, a massive win for Balwyn, wasn't it, Brash? And I think, like I said, in 2 weeks' time or 2 or 3 weeks' time, we're going to know more about what to take away from this game. Are we taking away that Balwyn are really good, or the Blackburn might just be that step below the top 5 or 6 sides?
Well, it's going to make a very interesting game on Anzac Day. Go on, Jared.
I've got the winning coach, Rocket Ede, down here. Rocket, comprehensive victory, of course, against Blackburn. No disrespect to them, but it was. What kind of learnings can you take from a game like this?
Just be able to play 4 quarters and consistently do well what we value. So, for most of the part, I was pretty pleased with that. And it's no matter who you play. I think they were a little bit undermanned today, a few players out, but I thought the boys were pretty good for 4 quarters.
Any players stand out to you from your squad?
Oh, I was really pleased with our ruckman. I thought Chevy was close best on ground. I thought he was terrific. I thought young Sexton boys were quite good. But it was an all-round team performance. Bowen Smith, I thought, was good in the middle as well. So I thought we had some pretty even performance.
Thanks, Rocket. Congrats on the win.
Jaron, he likes you saying the word rocket.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? Durant at Spider was doing that as well before. Obviously, former Dogs coach, Gav, so he was obviously a bit starstruck. Interesting to see that some of the players that obviously we've mentioned the Sextons a lot, but Bowen Smith was someone I, to be honest, didn't notice as much. But obviously, a coach knows what he's looking for. And
Was he a tagging role on Conker?
Maybe he kicked a goal himself, but like I said, I didn't notice him get a lot of the footy. But again, the ball was on that side of the ground. He might have had a lot of those, initial handballs.
I think he had a lot of good inside 50s.
Yeah, and then also Chevy Anderson, he did take a lot of intercept marks in the second half, and for someone who was probably undersized and battled it out.
I thought he definitely played. I think he won the position.
Yeah, eventually at the start of the day it was all Lachlan Harry, but as the day went on, Chevy Anderson won it. I don't think Rodney's quite swung me in changing my votes, but it's good to get the perspective of a coach, Brash.
It is, and I also think sometimes a coach doesn't look for quantity, he looks for quality. And I think maybe in the case of Bowen Smith, maybe he was he recognised that Conker with his run was going to be a dangerous conveyance throughout the afternoon, and by putting Smith on him to limit his output, maybe he's happy with what Bowen Smith has done to earn that his respect.
Let's do our votes then. Now that we've had the insight of Rodney Ede.
Yeah.
Ben, I'll start with you. We'll work our way down. Who have you got for your 3-2-1 for the Eastland, Nina and Pasadena Player of the Day?
Vincent Zagari gets 1 vote from me today. I thought he was absolutely sensational.
The jeweller, Zagamis.
2 votes to Caden Schreiber, whose work across the half-back line was absolutely sensational. Consistent performer. Maybe had more of a quiet 4th term, but outside of that, he was absolutely brilliant all day. And I'm giving 3 votes to Jack Sexton of the Balwyn Football Club, who I think was just around the football all day and it didn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, and I think the Sexton boys will win a couple of votes, Brash, because there's 2 of them out there, and one of them might benefit. Gav, who have you got for us?
Yeah, I could have given 6 players an equal vote. That's the sort of way it could go. But instead of mentioning 6 blokes, let's go 1 vote for Will Sexton, 2 for Charlie Haley, and 3 to Schreiber.
Like it.
I got 3 to Schreiber, 2 to Haley, and 1 to Zagari.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
He's stiff, Haley. Sorry, honourable mention for 5 goals.
But when they win by so much, it's hard to sort of just throw it to a bloke who gets on the end of him. But he does do some incredible work. I'll give 1 to Charlie Haley, 2 to Jack Sexton, and 3 to Caden Schreiber. Looks like Caden Schreiber's taking away our Nina and Pasadena Eastland Player of the Day and goal of the day. There's the Charlie Haley wrong and then there's the Charlie Haley run and give it to the barbecue when you're 10 goals up. Which one, Ben, gets the goal of the day?
You got to give it. You got the wrong and has to get
the wrong.
Yeah, the wrong and
the wrong. The honourable mention, of course, to the celebration. I'd love to ask Charlie, what had they been lipping you? It was just didn't like the barbecue. Maybe had a burger before the game. Gav.
He draws it to himself.
Absolutely. Well, gents, it's been an incredible call. Obviously, the game didn't quite live up to expectations, but a pretty good Friday in the end, Ben.
It was a sensational one, mate, and it's good to see the catfish Davis Harrigan rock up, and G-Mac looks like a tiger threw up on him. Wow. He's standing behind us as well, making sure we do a Mitcham game anytime soon. But here we go. We might get the camera on him. Oh, don't put it on Dyson Becker. But great to be out here, as always, out at Blackburn Moreton Park. Love seeing all the red out here. They didn't get to cheer too much today, did they? But Balwyn, a side that I live very close to at the moment, is looking good, looking the real goods. And for that to put that performance out in round 1, borderline scary about what improvements still to come there.
Well, yeah, exactly. The only way is up from that point. And I think Balwyn have got Park Orchards next week, so a real big test for Park Orchards after an impressive win. I think it'll technically be a top-of-the-table clash, Gav, but it might not end up being that way as the year progresses. And then Blackburn have got South Croydon.
I actually think that's going to be a pretty interesting encounter, that game.
That's who Rocket Ede dominated as the hardest to beat this year, South Croydon.
South Croydon did. Yeah, so for Blackburn to play South Croydon, that's what Black's opening 2 rounds, and it is part of their desire to obviously have these standalone fixtures, so they've got that, continuing pattern with a Good Friday game. I think they have played Doncaster once, but it's usually against Balwyn, and then obviously Blackburn and South Croydon have the Anzac Day game. But the unfortunately for them is the fact that both those sides are usually pretty good, so there's the danger you can be 0-2.
Well, the thing is, South Croydon, I mean, look, they only beat Berwick by 18 points.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, I mean, that makes that game on Anzac Day, it might be a bit more closer than what we think, because for one of a better word, I think Blackburn will improve on that performance. They'll
Had a few out.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you're going to get a touch-up, this is probably the best time to get a touch-up. At least you find out what your inadequacies are and what you need to do to fix them.
And in 3 weeks, Brash, Bowen might have beaten everyone else by 120 points. And all of a sudden, his performance looks pretty good. Yeah. So it is hard to get a gauge on things just after
they were good in the reserves, Blackburn. There's a couple of guys that I saw.
They were always good in the reserves.
Yeah, not as good as but they have, as Brendan Allen mentioned on pre-game, it's been hard to sort of keep those guys motivated when they're winning by 150 points. So
but the thing is, though, they did keep Balwyn scoreless, goalless for the match, 8 behinds in the reserves. So, I mean, look, I think that reserve grade this year is going to look a bit thin in a lot of games. I think there's going to be some big victories in that grade this year.
Do you think Blackburn would be better in winter? Like, top of the ground sort of suits Balwyn today.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Blackburn's rugged ways of them.
You can see Balwyn playing on a 23-degree day over in September and just pinpointing passes. Which, I think you can say with Blackburn on this ground, it's a hard ground to spread, isn't it? Because you can only spread so far. So it will be interesting to see if Blackburn maybe change the way they play their footy. Again, it's like we said, it's only round 1 and they're played likely to be one of the top 1 or 2 sides. So you can't. I doubt Brendan Allen's going to go away and rip it all up. It'd be pretty an overreaction, you would suspect, to do that.
Can Blackburn play night games?
They are playing a Friday night game.
A good Friday night game would be all right.
It would be great. They're playing a night game against Park Orchards, not next week, maybe. I think the 1st of May is if that's a Friday. I'm not entirely sure, but and that'll also be a good game. Blackburn and Park Orchards.
They should have done the light towers half red. I'm trying to get
really
a bit of a colour
red.
theme. I'm not the colour theme down here. They're known for their red. Look, everywhere you look, you can see red at the moment.
And it's and the red jackets don't really come out till you sort your middle of winter.
Yeah,
exactly. So maybe that's why they just sort of back seat today.
They're likely to end. I see red.
On that note,
we've still got 3 minutes to start.
Just padding out. Sorry.
Throw us in some of your Gavisms.
Gav was doing the right thing.
Brash has thrown the headset off.
He's seen enough. He's enough.
He's gone to see Gobbles.
No, Gobbles. Talking of Jeff Gobbles, where was he the last quarter and a half? That would have been prime time to get a cheapie one to get 450.
He didn't gobble much today.
No, but I think
Jeffrey wanted to kick it at home.
No, but I don't think he came on in the last quarter. I'm a bit.
He wasn't on. He wasn't on, and potentially maybe there was something to do with that.
That's what
Jared.
I don't know if Jared's still got the headset on.
I'm here.
Jared, where are you?
I'm coming around the boundary.
Was Jeff Gobles injured?
Not from what I saw. They're pretty consistently seem to be, with the 4 players on the bench, no one was getting too much attention from the medicos.
Yeah, all right. That's fantastic then. Hopefully Jeff Gobles hasn't got any damage to him, because we do love seeing him out in action. So, Gav, next week, though, we've got Doncaster and Doncaster East, and then we've got Blackburn and South Croydon, a big Anzac weekend. You'd be excited, Ben, to see your 2 Doncaster sides battle it out.
Where are we going to call from next week?
Trams, up the top.
Up behind the
goal.
Really?
Right up the top. Mickey Gillen's done a fantastic job to get us in there.
That's goal-scoring end, right?
Let's hope so.
Not if we're there.
No, it is when Gav's calling it. That's the Ben Warren Smith Cup, of course.
Yeah, that's it. And I will claim that too.
Yeah,
it'll be full if it's his cup. It'll be full.
Yeah, it's a very hard one to present. With all the electronic gear around.
The spillage.
It should be a good game though. It's always a great traditional clash between the two teams from Manningham, and
hopefully Doncaster at full strength. They had a few. Chris Anarkis didn't play last Saturday. Mark Jamar, I don't think, played either. So they've got the ex-Melbourne ruck duo of Jamar and Spencer.
Yeah, geez, that's formidable.
There'll be 3 AFL ruckmen out on the ground next week, because obviously I assume Zach Clark's still going around for the Lions.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Just on tomorrow, there'll be obviously no EFL Sunday coming out on Monday.
No, so no podcast this week with just the 2 games. So we'll give everybody.
We could call in an hour.
I received many a text over the last few weeks about where things might be. So we just thought we'll just throw it out there again.
Are you talking to the people who send you text messages, or?
Just
feedback.
in general, just for everybody that won't be on. We won't have a podcast this week. And ongoing, it's Monday.
Monday podcast for your Monday recovery, and the weekend forecast is Friday afternoon. If you can't get enough and you want to know all the ins and outs, Gav, before a big round of footy.
Definitely,
Which
it's a great
is what we're
program.
seeing. Absolutely. How are we going, Brucey, for time? We've padded pretty well here. We got a minute to go. I reckon I can do a really long outro, Ben. What do you reckon?
What was the scores around the ground, by the way?
Oh, around the grounds, Waverley Blues won comfortably in the end. Won really, really comfortably, 95-68. So a little bit of a late surge from Furniture Gully, but yeah, it looks like Waverley Blues, they'll be happy with that. Another game, another 100-point around about total, and this time they kept aside under 90 points gap. So you'll be pretty happy with that. 2-1.
I've got no allegiances, but I'm happy with that.
He says that.
Just keep singing the song.
By the way, it was good to see Spider Lee.
Yeah, of course. He's obviously been great on the podcast recently, but good to have him on a pre-game and started some engaging discussion, didn't he? Some different topics, which we enjoyed. I'm sure he'll be enjoying the Dogs at the moment. I think they're winning pretty comfortably out of Marvel. A couple of thank yous before we go. Of course, thank Brucey on the buttons, as per usual, providing the sweets as well. He gave a couple of special comments last week, but he didn't get right involved this week. Lee Green from LKLM Media over there filming the back of my head.
Leroy
does a fantastic job week in, week out. He had a bit of help from Hurricane as well. Around and on the boundary line, Jared Beanland, of course. Boundary riding, beautiful.
You're very welcome.
Some good touches. Riding solo, yep, some good touches. Got a few possessions. Might be in Blackburn squad next week. And then Ben Warren Smith, Gav Casey, Wayne Brash, and myself, Matt Fodia. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next Saturday. Good
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to say. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Running and jumping can be really painful for girls, especially in contact sport. Boom Armour supports your breasts, minimises the bounce and guards against impact and injury. Feel confident, feel supported, available at boobarmour.com.au.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo, and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Today at Eastland,